Welcome to Inside BBI's NFL draft coverage with John and Eric.
The pick is in.
All right. Well,
what the hell was that? What are you doing?
We just had a little special for the draft here. I thought it was pretty funny.
Did we turn into a soft corn porn channel? I didn't.
You know, it was. I like the way that it slowed it down a little more than I wanted. So that I was like, oh man, if only I was doing this right before like a segment on Vrabel and Rossini, that would have been great. But unfortunately, we're not. We're talking about the NFL draft.
Hey, we are guaranteed to have a better night than Vrabel is at home tonight. Let's just put it that way. Did you see he's heading home tonight?
He's taking a leave to go to counseling or rehab or whatever you do when you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar. So
unless the Giants take a punter, we're going to have a better. By the way, we're reversed. I think people are going to get mad at us. Is there a way to like flip this? Because people hate it when we're on the. Is there? Wait, let me try this. Yeah,
look at you. There you go.
Look at me, fancy tech guy. All of a sudden, all right.
And somebody already pointed out, why are you guys opposite sides?
Yeah, I know. Even my wife said you got to stay on this side. All right, sorry. What?
No, I'm fine. I'm breaking diet for this. I've got a Smithwick's Red Ale. I just picked it up today, so going with that. And I got, in honor of Cody Rhodes' championship win over Randy Orton, I've got my Cody Rhodes shirt on tonight.
I don't even know who those people are. So are you a fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I have yet to watch it. You've mentioned it before, and I have never seen it.
All right, so this isn't. So I'm going with the Dennis Reynolds Handsome Companion drink tonight. I've got gin and tonic. I think he had a vodka tonic. So anyways, I'm going with the Dennis Reynolds system. That again, I'm trying to be good right now. So but this will probably get me toasty by evening's end.
Nice.
Because the wife is committed to keep bringing these down to me on a regular basis. So I'm in the basement. So here we go. John, we got a good fun night tonight. 2 picks in the top 10. People are talking about maybe trading down from 5, maybe trading down from 10. What do you got first before we?
Well, I can tell you, I don't see us trading up. So Ryan Dunleavy, you can put that one away. I don't see us trading up. It's interesting because in God, I can't remember the last draft where we've gone in and go, I don't really know who they're going to. You have an idea, like they'll probably take this guy, but it's not pegged to one guy. Like,
right.
And it might not even be any of those guys that we keep hearing because the talk is so much about some guys that I'm beginning to wonder if that's all BS.
Right.
And maybe the Giants are going to look to move from 10. Maybe they look to move from 5. The Jets and the Cardinals are going to play a big role in what the Giants do. Because if the Jets go off script, if they don't take either one of the linebacker or edge guys, or Bailey, that changes everything. But if they take one, depending on who it is, then the Cardinals are going to have opportunity. But now all the rumors are they're worried that they won't be able to, if they wait to the bottom, they might not be able to get the quarterback they want, which is why they want to move off from 3 and maybe take the quarterback in the middle of the first round. That'd be crazy if they took Simpson at 3. That would be a shock of all shocks, but that would change everything for the Giants. That would
change everything. And Ricky is saying that's not going to happen, but it could happen on a trade down. But if they took Simpson at 3, that would be great for the Giants. Look, the best probably case scenario for the Giants is Jets take Bailey. And that's the rumor that they're not taking Reese. It was last week Reese, but it's Bailey. Now, again, we'll find out soon. But if they take Bailey and somehow Reese gets to the Giants, if the Reese aren't fully in love with him, if they can trade down with the Chiefs and get the Chiefs to like overpay, give us their second round pick. Now, the trade chart says that's too much. And Size Mock, he has a trade with the Chiefs with 5, and he has I think a 3 and a 5. I think it was. I think that's value in the trade chart. But maybe you can get a 2 if they're really hot. But that would be the ideal scenario, because the player that you get at 5 is probably the same player you can get at 9. Now, the caveat on all this is how much do they really like Jeremiah Love, and is Jeremiah Love there? If Jeremiah Love there, the prevailing wisdom, again, I want to back up. First of all, no one seems to know what the Giants are going to do. Right. I have not been contacted. This is the first time in years I have not been contacted by real asshats, people pretending to be asshats, anyone saying, I've got an inside scoop. The last time I heard from people like that was before John Harbaugh got hired, and they said they were going to hire John Harbaugh. It's been radio silent for me, and I checked the website this week, and I couldn't find anything except a comment here, a comment there. So it is the leaks are gone. Whether you believe those leaks were real at one point or not, that's a whole other matter. I happen to believe a lot of them were, because they told me things like Brian Burns is coming here before anyone had an inkling of Brian Burns, things like that. All right. So the leaks are gone. We don't have any idea who the Giants are taking. I don't believe even the beat writers like Jordyn, and I really like Jordyn, but I don't think he's being told, things that he's reporting. I think I just don't think they're doing. I think the only one who really knows what's going on is a tight inner circle now, and I don't think we know what they're going to do.
Yeah, and I think even Ian O'Connor, to a degree, I don't want to say he's being used per se, but I think John Harbaugh knows right now he's giving Ian some stuff, and Ian's sharing it, but he's not giving the stuff that for real. Like, this is the guy. You know what I mean? You don't want that out there. But if I want somebody to keep telling stuff, that seems to be quite the pipeline. Like, I'll go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Say that. That kind of stuff. It's
like he said today, the Giants will take Jordyn Tyson at 10 if he's there at 10. I don't think anyone in the Giants organization has told him that. That's just my opinion. Now, look, I will say this. I know we all love the draft. Anyone who's spending their Thursday night with us in chat loves the draft. Okay. I know we all have our opinions. But the way I'm approaching this draft is this. The Giants are going to get good players in the first round here. They're going to get somebody at 5 or 10 or wherever they trade down, as long as they don't trade down too far. But they're going to get good players. I'm not panicked about this, and I know people have their favorites, but you could make the case, you could make a logical argument the Giants should go all offense. You could make a logical argument the Giants should go all defense. You could make an argument that they should split it. And then you can argue pros and cons with all the players that we've mentioned. You can make a case that Mansour Delane should be the pick because he's the number one corner. You can make an argument that they should get one of the wide receivers because we don't have anything after Malik Neighbors, and Malik Neighbors is coming off an injury, and these wide receivers are good enough. You can make an argument that they have to get the offensive line further fixed. You can say the defense is a mess, and they have to add to the defense, especially the secondary. You could have scenarios where you draft both Delane and Downs. Or you could have a crazy scenario like they take Mawanoa and Owane and really fix the offensive line. And people would say, well, you got Runyon. What would you do with that? Well, you might get rid of Runyon at that point. I'm not saying that's what they're going to do, but I want to say what I'm saying is there are a lot of things that they could do tonight, all the combinations, and I'm going to be pretty happy with all of them. And Cy was basically making the same point today too. So everyone's got their favorites. Some people don't like Styles. Some people don't like Downs. Some people don't like Tate. You name the player, somebody doesn't like them. Just sure. All that matters is they get a good player, and 3 or 4 years from now, we're not bitching about them like Kayvon or Evan Neal. That's all. To me, that's all that matters. So that's me. I don't know how you feel, but I just want to good football players.
100%. And what's interesting too is that the Giants, in a lot of ways, right? There's going to be a run. More than likely, the run will be offensive linemen is probably what's going to happen. Once 1 or 2 goes, teams that are in need are not going to risk letting that go by, knowing that it gets very thin very quickly. Like then you're really into you're into a lot of projections. So if the Giants were to let's just for shits and giggles purposes, let's say the Giants went Downs and Delane. If they took those 2, if they went secondary safety corner,
right,
all of a sudden every team after them who was thinking, oh, these guys, they're now either turning to the position that may run offensive lineman, or they're like, oh man, there's only like 2 other safeties worth drafting, and we better get our guy, or there's only another corner worth getting. We better get our guy. The Giants can really dictate what happens here for a lot of other teams as well. They're in a very unique position, different than they were in 22, where it was fairly obvious of who the top players were. It didn't work out well, but they were fairly obvious of who the top players were, and they fit needs of the time. The Giants have needs, but they don't have to go need on these picks. And that's what makes it kind of interesting on what they might do.
There is only one position right now where they got to shop hungry, and that's defensive tackle / nose tackle. They've got to get a nose tackle out of this draft. I'm not talking about day 1. Might not even have to be day 2, but they've got to add, even if they get DJ Reader, they've got to add another nose tackle. So I was doing my last mock drafts today, my last simulators, and the only time I was getting a little panicky was nose tackles. So they can kind of like, I'm not saying they can ignore positions, but that's the one position on the team to me that if they had to play a game tomorrow, it's almost like, oh my God, we don't even have somebody there to play nose tackle. So that's the one, Cy likes to talk about shopping hungry, but that's to me. That's
unless they actually have a deal with a veteran already in place that they're just waiting to drop. And
but even with DJ Reader, that's just one guy. You got to have a backup.
True.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah. So
but it becomes more obvious. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It becomes more obvious that they have a veteran. If you go lower, if you're in the 4th round, 5th round, and they still haven't addressed that defensive line position, then they probably feel comfortable that they've signed a veteran. Maybe they're going to sign 2 veterans. Keep in mind too, the Giants actually have, for the first time in a while, they have a lot more cap room than they did just 2 weeks ago. So, and that doesn't even count whatever may or may not happen with Kayvon Thibodeau tonight.
Right. So, I'm reading comments in the comment section, stating I'm reading comments in the comment section. Have another drink.
What?
So people saying I want Downs, I want this guy. I feel the same way. Look, when I do this, the one thing I love the draft. The one thing I hate about the draft, I was telling John this before we came on, is I hate seeing guys I like going to other teams. So, if Caleb Downs goes to another team, I'm gonna be like, oh, that sucks. But at the same time, I'm like, I kind of want the guard.
Nice.
I kind of want Sonny Styles. I kind of, in a way, I've kind of convinced myself that Jeremiah Love would turn this offense into something scary good. My daughter didn't like hearing that because she loves Cam Scadaboo, and she didn't want to hear about that. But all of these players can help the Giants, and I can make a strong argument for any of them. So, the wide receivers, I know people are down on Jordyn Tyson, but if Jordyn Tyson is like having another, and I know people aren't thinking this way, but some people are talking them up this way. But if Jordyn Tyson's like another Beckham or Neighbors, and you can get that, and he's that kind of player, then that makes sense. Tate makes sense. Any of the offensive linemen make sense. The line Styles makes sense. If you could, Reese could come in here and play middle linebacker, and then you could move him around like a movable chess piece. We talked about that. So they can go in a bunch of different directions. I wouldn't be upset if they drafted Ruben Bain. I don't think they're going to do that, but Bain is a guy that I see as a movable chess piece too. I think you can move him all over the place. But so I think I'm pretty darn sure, unless the only thing I don't want them to do is trade up. That's me tonight. I don't know if you feel that way, but I don't want them to trade up.
No.
From either of those spots. I don't know what they would trade up with anyways, other than maybe using Kayvon, but I would not trade up.
I would think, and I apologize to you, if you see me looking down, I'm looking at X. To the right, I'm looking at the broadcast. I'm just trying to keep up with in case there's anything that pops up. I did just read, changing subjects real quick. I did Peter Schrager within the last 2 hours. He posted how he originally thought Ty Simpson was a second rounder. And the more phone calls that he got today told him he expects that Simpson will be a first rounder, and not only a first rounder, but quite frankly, could go in the middle of the first round, which I'm really shocked at considering where everybody else was kind of looking at this guy just a few weeks ago.
I'm convinced that's because of Jackson Dart. I'm convinced that's because of Jackson Dart, because I think it's in the same kind of thing where I think teams are kicking themselves about Jackson last year, and they're hoping lightning strikes again. I'm not saying Simpson will be another Dart, but I think people are going, look what happened when the Giants took a gamble on a guy like that, and they look at this draft and they say it's not that top heavy, and they're willing to take a shot on that. I think if Dart doesn't happen last year, this is less likely. I think somebody's hoping to strike, get lucky like the Giants did. So let's be honest here. There's two things I'm glad I was wrong about. One was I didn't think there was a quarterback worthy of trading up in last year's draft. And I was kicking myself, or I was regretting the Giants didn't get Vrabel as their head coach. So those are the two things I'm glad that didn't work out for the Giants. Can you imagine if we were going to the Vrabel crap right now on time? I mean,
it would truly be, Giants of old if that had been the case. Be like, oh, good, we got rid of one situation to take on another. That's awesome.
But I was like, damn it, how did we miss out on Vrabel? Look how this worked out. We got Dart, we got Harbaugh. So it all worked out in the end. It all worked out. And you're the one who told me, don't worry about the Colts game. There we go.
Oh, my God.
I had to bring up the Colts game.
Yeah,
all right, we have to keep paying attention here. I don't know if we're going to be in sync, too. Last year, you were ahead with me on the picks. I don't want to spoil it for people who are listening with Twitter, unless I assume some people on Twitter may spoil it for us, which is fine with me, but I don't want to spoil it for others by saying something before the picks are made on TV here.
I think we can safely say that Mendoza's probably going to go 1. He didn't even go to the draft. He's at home. He's doing his thing with his family. Good for him, by the way.
That's cool. I like that.
Why be forced into a dog and pony show if you don't want to do that?
It's stupid. It's the draft is stupid now. I know I was ranting on BBI today about missing the old days, but look, I used to like to come home. Get ready at noon, not wait around all day. It's not me having to go to bed. I'm not that old. I'm not going to bed. I'm not that old. If anything, I'm a night owl. But I liked having the draft start at noon. 2 days, 12 rounds. There used to be 12 rounds. I had my beer, I had my sandwiches, I had my draft guides spread out, and I didn't see sunlight for 2 straight days. And I loved it. And by the end of the day, it was like the Simpsons where they come out and they're like, they finally see sunlight, and they're all like, the kids are all like, oh my gosh, sunlight. That's how it was at draft weekend in the old days. It's like you didn't even see sunlight because the draft was held during the day. For crazy people like me, and back then it used to be just the psychos that like me that used to really follow the draft. Like that,
I used to make my own handwritten list by position, and then my overall list ranking everybody for the entire draft. My friends thought I was crazy, but we'd all get together for a big draft party and stuff. It was pretty hysterical. I'll never forget being surrounded by them. They were all different. There was a Steelers fans, there were some Browns fans, there was a Cowboy fan, whatever, and then in the draft, and I'm all psyched that the Giants finally get the pick and they take goddamn Thomas Lewis.
Yeah.
I'm like flipping through. I'm like, what the hell? He's not only was like, I think the Giants are picking like in the low 20s, right?
I was grabbing my draft guides like Our Lads and Joe Bushbaum, Pro Football Weekly, and I was like, where's Thomas Lewis? I can't even find him.
Mel Kiper had him as the 21st wide receiver, not the 21st player, the 21st wide receiver.
I know he was
in the first round. I'm like, you've got to and then when you're surrounded by your friends who aren't Giants fans, it's just like, oh my God, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Who the hell is Thomas Lewis?
Yeah, it's like what?
All right, so what time do we have here? We've got 8. We're
8:03.
So they're probably going to spend. They know they're going to take Mendoza. They're probably going to spend the whole 8 minutes, not because they want to, but because the NFL has told them to, so they can get in as many commercials as possible. That's another change. But I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I thought the Steelers, and what I've heard is that they're not going to do it. I thought they would really orchestrate it to bring Aaron Rodgers out to announce he's coming back, because they still technically don't have a quarterback. Unless you count Will Howard.
Old. That's another bullet we dodged. He was never going to come here, but that was another bullet. What a mess that is. So un-Steeler-like, too, to rely on that. My least favorite part of the draft now is the Goodell hug. I hate the Goodell.
It's such hug. It's
so fake. It's so phony. It's so forced. It's like, oh my God. Just once, I'd love to see a player go up there and go, nope.
Roger Goodell is the gorilla monsoon of the NFL. If you know what I'm talking about, it's like, literally, he's just out there. He's just doing the bidding of the owners anyway. He's kind of made this whole hug thing his thing. I'm like, you're a lawyer, right? Like you're just, can you calm down?
He just gives me weird vibes. I'm not a fan. I miss the old. I never thought I would miss like
Paul Tagliabue.
Paul Tagliabue. Pete Rozelle. I never thought about commissioners that way until we got this knob. So it's like our movie. What is it? Birdemic. This knob walking in front of me.
Oh, hey, new mommy. Can we find a new daddy who knows how to walk?
This knob doesn't know how to walk.
Love that movie. Oh my gosh.
How have you never seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? How have you never?
I don't know why. Maybe because it has Philadelphia in the title.
Yeah, it's got Eagle fans too.
It makes it tough to. But I've never. I knew it existed. I never bothered to watch it.
What is this? Who are these two guys flanking him now?
These are all old Steelers. These are all old Steelers. Yeah, so it's Bradshaw, Ward, Swan, Hayward, Watt. I think that's Donnie Shell. What the hell?
You may be ahead of me on the announcements again. We'll see. So, I've got Goodell muted right now, and I don't want the.
I don't have any of the sound, but I'm watching Terry Bradshaw sort of wobble around there.
All right, John. So while we have you here, nice. Are you rooting for somebody at 5, or are you rooting for a trade down? What do you? Don't think. What are you hoping for? Are you stick and pick, or trade down first? Let's do that. Do you kind of want to trade down?
I would personally. I would like to trade down, unless if the Jets don't take Reese. I've kind of come full circle on that deal, and I kind of think I want Reese to be the pick. If
really?
He slides there. I was not. No. And I just think there was something about, I watched some highlights of him. There was and the one piece I think the Giants are kind of missing, I think Styles would be awesome, but there is a bit of a hit or miss with, he is an unbelievable athletic talent, but there's some things that, he's got to maximize it, or he's just going to be a really amazing athletic talent.
I get it.
And I think Reese is he could be more of the lunch pail guy if needed. Like if he becomes is just a really super consistent guy, that's a big plus. I just like his size and some other things about it. But if he's not there, I would like them to trade down. I was pretty anti-Love, but I'm kind of coming around on that too. Just because, listen, if that's what John Harbaugh wants, that's the guy that we wanted, right? If we say we want John Harbaugh and he's got to do it his way, I can't go, if he picks Love, go, oh, you're stupid. It has
Who's
nothing
making
to
the pick tonight? Who do you think's making the pick
John
tonight? Harbaugh?
It's John Harbaugh.
Yes, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so it's
100%.
Harbaugh's pick, right?
100%.
Joe Shane's not overruling John Harbaugh on the number 5 overall pick in his first year here, when he just said, I'm going to call, unless I get to call the shots, I'm not coming here, right? So
exactly.
This is going to be a John Harbaugh pick.
You believe that, right? Like you're
yeah. I just wanted to get you on record that, because there's some people I still see on Twitter, Shane's going to mess us up. I don't think Shane's calling the shots. So what kind of makes me wonder, it was that whole thing with Jordyn Tyson. I think there's legitimate interest there. Because they're doing their homework, but it also makes me wonder if they're doing some deception. Did they send Joe Shane out there to sort of like be part of that deception too? So,
I always thought that the interest was for real, but I also thought it was because they were thinking they might move down, that they might slide back some. That I don't care what anybody else says. That injury history with Tyson has to have some teams just a little worried. That's a lot of money, and you're tying up your 4 years plus the 5th-year option in a first-round pick. That's a lot to tie up with a guy he's missed like 17 of 51 games. That's quite a bit, And for a team like the Giants, who've had nothing but injury after injury after injury, to take a guy like that there is pretty risky. But if you slide back some, backfill that other spot you're looking for, either an extra second or you're into the third, then I think it makes sense. And you're doing your homework. But I do wonder if that was a bit like we want somebody else to think that we're absolutely in on taking this guy to try to entice somebody up.
Hey, can you hold on 1 second? Why did you switch it? It was on.
The feed upstairs is about a minute and a half ahead.
Okay, but that's fine. But I need the feed. Okay. All right, sorry, technical difficulties. I may mute you at one moment in one second here.
All right,
because I lost access to the trap. Wait, let me mute you for a second, John. Just give me 1 second.
You're fine.
Sorry. All right.
You're good.
All right. If I'm behind, it's all right.
And deep down, I think you're only muting you. I could just keep talking away and it'd be all fine.
Oh no, I was muting me. Yeah. Which a lot of people would prefer anyways.
The pick is in.
I want to tell everyone, Cy said he's likely to more come on tomorrow night with us than he is tonight. So it doesn't look like Cy is coming on. So I apologize if I misled. It sounded like I was misleading. It was always a maybe proposition. He could surprise us. I don't know, but he said it's more likely it's going to be tomorrow. Dave Del Cole is joining us around when the Giants pick. So we will have Dave, I think, on tonight. And so that will help us break down the picks because he's very opinionated. I'm sure he will not like if they take certain players. I'm fine with whoever they take as long as they don't take some. But I don't know who the wild card would be. So I don't want to jinx it. I can't say the knock on wood thing because you guys have ruined that for me. So
well, last thing we want is you knocking on wood right now. That would not be the way to go. Kenyon Sadiq would be an interesting off the wall if they traded down and he was sitting there. That would be a kind of an unexpected, especially with some of the investment already at tight end.
No, I don't see that. Yeah, I don't see
that. Would make sense with the kind of bigger, kind of with the way they're going, because he's a glorified wide receiver.
Oh, by the way, someone said hi, Mrs. BBI.
Yes. Yes, I'm Smithwick's Red Ale, Irish Red Ale. Yes.
I'm Dennis Reynolds with it. What is it? What did he have? It was no, I know, but what drink did he have? He had a vodka town. I have a gin and tonic. So
nice. Nice.
And people know it's always sunny in Philadelphia. They'll get the reference with the handsome companion drink. All right. Anyways. So my thought process on 5 right now is I'm getting greedy. I'm kind of hoping somebody's there that wasn't supposed to be there, and the Chiefs or the Saints or somebody says, whoa, we want that player. The Giants don't really want that player. And the deal is so sweet that the Giants think they can still move down and get that player. I know that sounds risky, but I'm okay with like Mansour Delane, Iwane. I think Caleb Downs could slip. Now if the Giants are convinced Caleb Downs is like the stud they need, I'm okay with at 5. But part of me says, will Caleb still be there at 8 or 9? And then can you get another pick out of that? So if it works out, it's great. If it doesn't work out, that's when the conservative conventional wisdom is don't mess around, stick and pick. But part of me wonders if they've moved down, if they can still get the 2 players that they really want to target. Like if they really want Iwane and they really want Downs, I might risk it. That's my thought process on that. And then we'll see. If Love is there, then maybe all bets are off too.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. There's a lot of rumors about the Cowboys wanting to move up, and then but it's all over the board on supposedly who they want to move up for. Some have saying it's Styles. I've heard other people say it's Delane that they want to move up for.
Right.
But then there's been talk.
Knows it got picked, so I'm doing my. Sorry.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Every time it's weird. And I know it has no basis in factual kind of like, yes, this is it. But have you ever wondered though, that when there's some quarterbacks and you see their name and you go, Nah, just not going to be successful. That name just doesn't ring quarterback. I don't know if Mendoza is going to be
I
the
will
quarterback
say with
down the
this
road.
guy though, man, he impressed the hell out of me down the stretch in the playoffs and even before that. I mean, he just seems, again, I don't know what kind of pro he's going to be, but I was impressed with the young man. He looks like a baby. I mean, again, I'm getting old, but he looks like like Eli Manning. He looks just so damn young. All right, now this is where it gets interesting, John. What do the Jets do? This is going to impact the Giants big time. So, everyone's assuming it's going to be Bailey, but they could do something really weird here. I don't think this is going to happen, but I saw someone say they could take Jeremiah Love. I don't think that's going to happen with Breece Hall, but I've seen people, not a lot, but I've seen people make that. So, but the conventional wisdom is Bailey or Reese here. I think it helps the Giants better if it's Bailey. I don't know if you feel the same way.
I totally agree. I think it changes if Reese does so let's say it's Bailey and Reese starts to slide, that becomes, I think, for the Giants, probably target number one. If Reese is taken and Bailey slides to the Giants, I don't think the Giants are. Bailey's too much of a guy, very similar to the edge that they have now. He's a pass rusher, but that's kind of all he is. He's not. The Giants' edges have to do a little bit more than that, which is why I think if you get a Reese that you can play, and supposedly the Jets pick is in, we'll see who it is in a minute.
Now, the other thing too is, though, the counter argument to that is if they do take Reese, the Jets take Reese, the Cardinals and or Titans may be more willing to take Bailey. So that in a way, Reese could work out too for the better for the Giants. We'll find out. We're going to find out soon, but this is a really big, interesting pick for the Giants. The next few picks, because no one knows what the Cardinals are going to do. A lot of people think the Cardinals are going to trade down.
Right.
Who's trading up? Is it Dallas? Is it Kansas City if they do it?
There has been talk that Kansas City might want to move up. There's also talk that the Saints are trying to move around, which is weird. I don't know why you would for those guys. I think they sitting still and they still got a lot of cap stuff that they're dealing with.
Are you watching the draft over there?
No, I'm trying to find out. Like I said, it's several minutes ahead upstairs. I don't understand what it is.
But I think John and I are in sync. Where are you on your clock? What does your clock say, John? Not your computer. You're like the TV clock. I want to see how far ahead you are from me. I got 2:47 on the Jets clock. Now 2:45.
Oh, I'm not seeing. I just know the pick is in. I don't know who it is.
Pick. Oh, now it said pick is in. Yep.
So I think I'm a tad ahead, but they haven't said who it is. If anybody has seen it, I haven't seen it yet. So
now I may be going back on myself here. It might be better if it's Reese for the Giants. Now that I think of it, but I think it's going to be Bailey. My guess is it's going to be Bailey.
It'll be interesting. I mean, I don't. By the time I spit out what it is, it'll be. But yeah. Bailey put out a collage and it had all these different teams on it, but the only team that wasn't on it was the Jets.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, I mean, does it mean anything? Who knows? We'll find out.
Oh, I saw it on Twitter. I'm not going to announce it.
So,
I saw it on Twitter.
So it meant nothing. So there you go. It is. It is announced. So for those who haven't seen, I mean, I don't know if I can.
It's out on Twitter, but we're not going to announce it to you guys.
To me, it's up
to you.
It's on the screen for me, so I'm watching. Watching it already.
Well, if it's on the screen, you can say it.
Yeah, Bailey to the Jets. So
Bailey's to the Jets.
This is where things really start to turn. This is the Cardinals.
The Cardinals. Yeah.
If they go Jeremiah Love, then you can, at that point, Reese and Styles are guaranteed. One of them is guaranteed with the Giants. So then it's whatever the Giants want to do. If the Giants weren't really in on Styles, then does it become Reese and Downs? Is it become a trade down? Do they just jump on Reese? But if the Cardinals trade out and somebody else jumps in, do they jump in for Reese or do they jump in for Love? This is where the dominoes start to fall with the Cardinals pick.
Oh man, we got to see what the Cardinals are going to do here. I misread something from Connor Hughes. I thought he said that the Cardinals were taking Jeremiah Love. They could, but we'll see.
The Titans supposedly have been all in on Styles. But again, how much can you believe of that? You know, like with Selah as the coach, with Dayball as the offensive coordinator, you've got a second-year quarterback who needs weapons. Their receiving core is pretty bad.
Right. Everyone's predicting, it seems like Styles to Tennessee in the last few days, but it's interesting that Ricky said no today on that. So we'll see. We'll find out. I have mixed emotions. I'm a Sonny Styles guy. But again, I'd be okay with other players being there. If they take Styles in, look, if depending on what the Cardinals do, that means Love is there. And if Love goes and Styles goes, that means Reese is going to be there for the Giants. So
right,
I mean,
right.
And if Reese is there, you either draft him or someone's going to want to trade up with the Giants for him. So I've said my dream scenario too, if they still get the good players that they wanted, is Reese is there. They trade Reese for a ransom, and they still get the players that they wanted, like Downs and Awane, or Mansour and Awane, or whoever, any combination of what's left. So
it will be interesting because I've kind of been on the well, actually, I've been pretty solidly believing that they wouldn't have both picks in the top 10, that one of them would move first. You gotta, I know one of the comments that we had when we did our draft preview, and I kept mentioning the gap from 37 to 105. It's freaking huge. And it's not just the numbers, it's the drop off of the players that are there it's absolutely immense. And depending on what you're trying to do, the Giants really, because you also want players that can make your roster, even if they're just backups, not necessarily they're going to be starters or whatever. But again, the Giants are still trying to manage the cap. And yes, they've got room next year, but some of that room is going to get eaten up when they start signing some of their guys to new contracts. Well, and you want to have maneuverability because you don't want to keep signing guys to 1-year deals and stuff like that, just so that you get through and you keep the cap under control.
Well, a huge reason why you'd want another third or a second is, again, the defensive tackle spot. So Cy had nailed it today if he lasts that long, but Dominique Orange is somebody the Giants, I got to imagine the Giants would have a lot of interest in. Dominique Orange will probably go in the late second, early third round area. So that's why I love Cy's mock today, because he traded down, got an extra third, and got Dominique Orange. And if you put Dominique Orange behind DJ Reader, then all of a sudden your nose tackle position's fixed. So, but there are a few nose tackles in this draft. Some of them are going to go before the Giants pick, like Caden McDonald probably. Lee Hunter's in that second round, maybe top of the third round discussion too. So there's only a few of those guys that are that level. Then if you don't do that, then you got to wait later into the draft, like the Regises and the Keenan Allens and those guys.
Right.
Your nose tackle, the one that you like, the one from Alabama. I can't think of his name.
Oh, Tim Keenan.
Yeah, Tim Keenan. I don't think I was very high on him, but I think, those kinds of guys, those you'd have to wait. But like as Steven said, Big Citrus. I think that'd be cool if he was on the Giants. Oh, do we know did they make a trade?
Oh, no, but it does. I can tell you, Dunleavy is saying that he believes that it's the Arizona Cardinals taking Jeremiah Love. He posted it 1 minute ago.
Yeah.
If that's the case,
and so did Connor Hughes. So there goes Love.
That means the Giants will have Styles or Reese if they want them. One of those guys is definitely going to be available at 5.
Yes.
So
wow. That's surprising, because they've got so much money invested in the running back position. The Cardinals do. That's the owner trying to sell tickets, as people were saying. I know that was being talked about in the last few days, but that still surprises me. I kind of thought they were trying to scare people to try to trade up and get Love. Wow. Okay. Dan Duggan said the Cardinals might have saved the Giants from themselves. I wouldn't go that. Look, if Love is the player that he looks like he's going to be, that would have been a good pick for the Giants. He's just not there, so we don't have to worry about it now. It was never in the, no pun intended, never in the cards for us.
Nice.
So that fell into my lap. Sorry. In a way, there's a little bit of sense of relief in this sense that we can't focus now on the defensive players, and unless they do something like Tyson or Tate at 5, we're thinking defense, right?
I would think so.
We're not, or they could go Mawanoa, but I don't think they could. I would be perfectly fine with Mawanoa at 5. I don't think that's where they're going, but if they do Mawanoa at 5, that would be, but I think they're thinking defense is my guess, right?
That's what I would think. But I mean, Jennifer, I'm also thinking.
I think this is 100%. Tyrone Tracy had to be like shit.
Yeah, bricks. Right. He loved.
He was going to be relegated to a kick returner in a league that doesn't value kick returns anymore. That's what he was going to be relegated to. John, this is big. So what are you thinking at 5 now? You're thinking, like you said, Reese or Styles?
Well, that's what I'm thinking they'll at least be there. Is the question will become
down.
Does somebody else want Reese bad enough that they will offer the Giants something? Like, would you trade with Dallas if Dallas wanted to come up? If Dallas was going to give you 12 and 20 to come up, would you do that?
I wouldn't drop that far. I wouldn't drop, because the problem is once you get out of the 12 range, the picks at 20 aren't going to be any different than 37.
But you have 3 shots in the first round, and you're still picking at 37.
I always feel better with Kansas City. I would rather have Kansas City call. I get it. It's an interesting discussion. It sounds like you would do it. I don't think I would do it.
I would do it because I'm going to get 3 of what's considered the first round players regardless, and I still have 37. The draft's a numbers game.
But what if Reese is a monster for Dallas and is terrorizing you for the next 10
that's true, but I mean, does it matter if he's a terror and you traded for 2 first round picks, or I traded for a first and a third with somebody else and he's still a terror? The only difference is that it's in your division. I get that, but if someone offers me 2 first round picks from moving from 5, I got to consider it. I mean, that's a big deal.
I wouldn't be upset with it. I just don't like doing business with Dallas.
Right. Agreed.
I would prefer, and I don't think KC would do this, but I would prefer to wiggle that second rounder from KC and just move down to 9. And then I'm pretty sure I may still get the 2 players I would have taken at the player I took at 5 might still be there at 9. Like Downs might be there at 9. And if he's not, I take Mansour Delane. I mean, so, or one of the other players. Again, I'm fine with Mawanoa. Then you got your right guard. So, but let's look at our players on our list, because again, it's going to be. I think that the possibilities still here for the Giants are Styles, Downs, Delane,
Tyson,
Tate, Mawanoa. Is that it?
I think it's. Yeah, the guard from Penn State. That's it. Those are it.
So the first 2 picks went as expected. The Love is a curveball that people were speculating on in the last couple of days that no one really was talking about before the last few days. So now we got this is it. I mean, this pick for the Titans is going to probably largely depend what the Giants do here.
Somebody in chat is saying that the Titans have gone offense. They didn't say who. They didn't say who. Right? So, well, I mean, I don't know if we want to spoil it. I think they were wise not to spoil it. So I don't know. I just know that someone said.
No, other people have said. Yeah. Oh, I see who it is. Wow. So. Wow. Should we say it or no? Do you know who it is?
Go. I don't know who it is, so go for it.
It's Tate. They took Tate.
So Styles and Downs is sitting there for the Giants at 5.
Styles, Downs, Reese. Now, are you trading
5.
down with the Chiefs, or the Chiefs are calling you? I'm trading down.
100%.
If the Chiefs are calling me, I'm trading down. Unless the Giants want Reese. Like they're like, oh my God, if Harbaugh and Shane and Bernard Wilson say Reese is a super stud, there's no way we're giving up on him. We can use him an off-ball linebacker. We can use him as a rusher when we need to. We can move Kayvon off this team more easily now. But if the Chiefs are calling me and saying we'll give you our 2nd and 9, then I'm really listening to that. I mean, trade with who? The Chiefs. If you're no, we're not saying the Giants are trading with them. We're saying we're speculating. I don't know if that's what your question is. We're saying we would trade down if the phone is ringing. The speculation has been the last few days that the Chiefs are trying to trade up for a defensive player. And all the defensive players are there still.
I'm not surprised at Tennessee because, again, it was one of the things I was just trying to talk about just a minute ago. When you have a young quarterback and they got nothing at wide receiver, you've got to get him weapons. I mean, he can't go out there again with nothing. He's got to develop. You don't develop by having nobody to throw to. So them getting a wide receiver right here makes sense. The Giants right now, I mean, this is a defensive draft at the moment for the Giants. There's just a defensive players galore that they can pick from. I'm not saying they will. I'm saying that they can pick from right now. It's defense heavy.
Right, but the only caveat, and this is what Connor Hughes is talking about, is if the Giants really want a wide receiver, they may have to take Tyson here because Tate's off the board now. So I'm not arguing for that. I'm not arguing for that. So before people start yelling at me, I'm saying, but if the Giants brain trust wanted to get a wide receiver, either Tate or Tyson, Tate's off the board. They can't wait to 10 on Tyson if they really want Tyson now because there's too many teams between the Giants and the two Giants picks. So I'm not saying it's going to be that, but I just keep that.
It makes sense though. I mean, I see why, because again, like we talked about earlier, right? Once a certain position goes, especially if there's not a lot of the guys at that position, a run could easily start to happen. So if the Giants think we got to get at least one wide receiver,
right,
which may tell you, they're a little concerned about, Malik Neighbors' knee, that they don't know for sure what they're getting or not going to get.
I don't think it's that. I know people keep saying that, John, but again, look at the depth chart. We don't have anybody at wide receiver except Neighbors. I think it's deeper than that. I think,
maybe, but I think it's got to play a little bit of a role, or I don't force a pick of wide receiver here at 5.
But I don't think they think it's a force. I think if they take a wide receiver, I think they legitimately think Tyson's worth the. I don't see as John Harbaugh in his drafting history in Ravens as a panicking type of guy. And I'm not saying that's going to be the pick. I'm just saying if they really wanted to come out of this draft with one of the 2 wide receivers, they would have to take him now. If that's what they're. And I'm not saying that's their thought process.
Apparently the Giants pick is in. I have not seen who it is.
I don't know if I should look. What I'm trying to do is find something from Cy real quick. Oh my goodness. All right. You're going to be happy, John, I think.
All right.
Do you know?
No.
Do you want me to, do you want me to tell you or no?
I do. I want you to tell me.
It's Arvell Reese.
All right.
Giants took Arvell Reese.
Now, I'll tell you, that opens the door for them to move off from Kayvon Thibodeau if they want to.
Oh, God, yeah, yeah. Oh,
because
sure.
The worry about, we might need this. You've got movable parts. You can move off from him if you want to.
Look, if you guys were in on Sonny Styles, you've got to be in on Arvell Reese. I mean, they're basically the same player. And that's the funny thing about this. And other people have pointed this out. It's hard to tell the two apart. They both play off-ball linebacker, and they both can rush the passer. They just use Arvell more in that role. The best comparison I've seen to Arvell Reese is he's Carl Banks. So if you like Carl Banks, you're probably going to like Arvell Reese. They're built the same way. And Arvell can play off-ball linebacker for the Giants. If you wanted Sonny Styles, you shouldn't have any problem with Arvell Reese. So, and there are a lot of people who think Arvell Reese was the best player in this draft. So This is a good pick. The Giants didn't fuck this up, guys. They didn't fuck this up. This is a good pick for them. It's interesting they took Reese over Styles, though.
There we go.
John,
there's our guy. Sorry.
So I'm not
John
upset.
Harbaugh.
You're happy. I'm happy.
I'm all good with this because this to me, it gives you it's more of that Jason Pierre-Paul pick, the Matthias Kiwanuka pick. I'm not saying I think he'll be a better player than Kiwi was, but it's you took a player at a position that's not necessarily of need, but he is just clearly too good at this spot to not take him. And as you pointed out, right, he can play off the ball. He can line up next to Edmonds to begin with. Whether he wants to play edge or not is not important to the Giants. You'll play where we want you to play right now. But he can play both. And you can move guys around. And you also made a really good point about the fact that we have Burns, but he might not be long for this team another year or two if he doesn't really fit the style that they're going to play, and he's going to be expensive. We're already putting money on his contract that he's got. So getting pieces that can backfill, that's how you build your team. You don't have one guy, and if he leaves, your team is screwed. Well, they've got players to come and play now.
The other thing is if you want a linebacker who can set the edge, Arvell Reese can set the edge. So this actually may mean Abdul Carter plays more like he did in the first half of the season where, again, I think they're going to move him around, and this is going to screw with other offenses. But you can play Reese as your edge setter, and you can move Abdul back inside, and you can, again, this is a three-headed monster that we were people wanted Kayvon to be that player, which he never really developed into that player. But now you've got Kayvon couldn't really move in and out, but Reese can. So now you can move these guys all around. So if you want an edge setting guy, a Carl Banks type edge setting guy, what did we do when we had Carl Banks on here? What did we talk to him about? How he used to abuse the crap out of the tight ends, throw him aside, and make the play against the run. What have the Giants have had issues with for years? Setting the edge. So Absolutely. That's Arvell Reese. And Arvell Reese is not just an edge setter. Don't get me wrong, everyone. He can rush the passer. He can cover. He can do all these things. That's why people were talking about him being the second overall pick. So what's going to be interesting moving forward is the comparison. Jets fans might be looking at Arvell Reese now going, if Arvell ends up being a better player than David Bailey, then they might be going, oh, my God. So the Giants fans don't have to worry about that because we didn't have a shot at David Bailey. But Jets fans are going to be making that comparison all the time now. So, what if they can get downs now? I mean, I'm not going to get my hopes up, but if they still can get downs.
I mean, still could.
But I would be happy with Iwane, too. I look, if they get – I think Iwane is probably the safest offensive lineman in this draft. That's my unprofessional opinion, is I think if you're looking for a safe guy that's probably going to be in Pro Bowl contention on a regular basis, it's probably Iwane. So if you want a plug and play guy, that's what I would be looking for. This is good, right? We're excited about this. Okay,
I'm happy with it. I think this, again, you can look to different areas and say, well, they should draft this area, whatever. But really good teams add really good players regardless of the position. And I think, first off, I still actually think this is a need position regardless. Like they're very thin. After we talked about the other day, right? You got McFadden coming back, but what do you have with him? We don't know. And he is a limited player regardless. This is a player with really unlimited potential. So you got size, you got physicality, and he comes from a big program. So it's not like you're taking a guy from a small program and hoping that they're going to be able to step up with the big boys. This is a huge pick for them, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to post this too. Wait. Outside linebacker, inside linebacker. Because he's both. He's our inside linebacker, Arvell Reese at number 5. Okay. Woo! All right. So they didn't take a punter, John. I'm happy. Woo! I'm happy with this pick. Again, part of me wanted Sonny Styles. Part of me wants Sonny Styles is still there. What if they got Sonny Styles? I don't think they're going to double down on that, but that would be funny if they did that. But Sonny's out there. Caleb's out there. Mansour's out there. The offensive linemen are still out there. Jordyn Tyson's still out there. Tyson's still out there. All right, so that's round one.
I think it's nice that they include people to make the announcements and stuff, but I don't think you should do it in the first round. I think the first round should be very structured, very specific. There's our guy.
I don't like the fan announcements when they do that. I think that's kind of cheesy, but that's, again, get off my lawn. Old man here.
I don't mind it in later rounds. It's just the first round. It used to be. I know now I'm sounding that way too. The first round it used to be really. It was a very special kind of like this is. It's a big deal. It's first round, and then you can include all that other stuff. But now they do it right off. Yeah, it's like everything else. It becomes very like quick. It's all little blurbs, little shorts, little this. It's like. I kind of miss just the old school football stuff, but yep, now I am sounding like that guy. Holy shit!
Hey, I actually missed the announcing of the pick. Is this the announcing?
Yeah, those fans are. It's nice. It's not just any random fan. It's nice, but I just kind of wish they'd save it for the second round to be on.
You hear it? I got my volume too far down.
I turned the sound off, so I'm only watching it. But
you know what?
Reese is walking out on stage.
My wife stole the volume. Oh, here it is. Never mind.
Well,
I just like to hear the announcement. I'm one of these suckers. I go back and watch the announcements the day after. I think they're cool. Boy, our linebackers are studs. We have stud linebackers. Yeah. So you got Abdul Carter, Brian Burns. Again, Kayvon Thibodeau is still here, and Arvell Reese. I mean, there's no deeper group. I mean, I know Kayvon's not long for this team, but holy crap. Talk about a loaded group. And again, Abdul Carter and Reese can play inside too.
Right.
I saw a number of people in the last couple of days say if the Giants somehow get Arvell Reese combined with X, that would be a home run draft. That people thought that wasn't even a possibility. But they said if Reese somehow gets to the Giants and they take him, they're like, that's an unbelievable scenario for the Giants. I have to admit, John, I didn't watch a lot of Arvell Reese stuff before the draft because I didn't think he was going to be there for us.
Yeah, expected him to be gone. He's definitely got some pass rush ability. He has a little. I don't want to jump over. He has a little Micah Parsons with it. He can be inside. He can be outside.
Same with
that. He has that same size too.
The alphaness of this defense is going to be all linebackers right now. Dexter's out of the picture. This team now belongs to people like Brian Burns and probably Abdul Carter and soon Arvell Reese. So for everybody, listen, I'm not saying yeah, go ahead, Adam. I'm not saying. What do you think? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. We'll bring you in a sec, Dave. Sorry.
I'm not saying you're wrong, chat, per se. But keep in mind, the Kayvon Thibodeau thing, it is possible the Giants want to trade him because you go into the season, if he gets hurt in training camp, if he gets hurt in the first couple of weeks, all of a sudden, that you get nothing for this guy. So the Giants may be trying to look ahead, and I'm not saying they will dump him, but they now have the resources if they want to move him. They've got resources to take his spot.
They would take a trade. I think we pretty well know that they would have taken a trade. They would have traded him already had they had a decent offer because they want the cap room. So
wait, did Kansas City move up?
Yes.
Okay, so they did.
Yes.
All right. So
all right, he's got the stogie. All right, Dave. I don't remember what you said if Reese was the pick. You and I have talked so much online. Are you okay with this?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that it's the least talked about thing the entire time that we've been leading up to this. But every time that I talk to somebody on my show or just in general, in this scenario where Reese fell, everybody was still going Reese. So,
yeah,
with the impending departure of Kayvon Thibodeau at the end of the year, I don't think anybody expects him to – get re-signed. It makes sense to kind of front load, get ahead of that. And he's a versatile player, right? Between playing the edge, being able to play stand up inside linebacker, which from what I understand about Denard Wilson's defense, he wants versatile schemes, multi defensive fronts, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it makes sense. I'm not mad at it. I was glad to see Jordan Love go off the board at 3, and then the 2 guys that I really wanted, as you guys know, go on both sides of the Giants pick here with Carnell Tate and Mansour Delane. So
wait, did they take Delane?
Yeah, so the Chiefs took Delane.
It just got announced.
So and the Chiefs no defensive backs, so that sort of validates your high opinion and Cy's high opinion of Mansour Delane. If anyone knows defensive backs, it's the Chiefs and Steve Spagnuolo. So again, we knew that Mansour might have been in the discussion with the Giants, but I don't think any of us were really thinking 5 except you, Dave. I think Reese is probably the better there. I don't think you can pass on Reese, but
I don't think you can either. And that's I'm not suggesting that we should have gone Mansour, but it is vindicating for me the fact that he went immediately after, and the Chiefs decided to trade up for him, no less.
Trade up for him because they don't think he's going to get to them a few picks later. Does anyone know what the Chiefs gave up? Just out of curiosity, was it their 3rd?
I don't know.
I'd have to go back. They did show it.
If anyone in chat knows what the Chiefs gave up, let us know too. I'm trying to update the website a little bit here too. So if you see me typing, guys, I'm not ignoring you. I run a business.
So did you guys notice in the draft room that Steve
3rd
Tisch
and a 5th? That looks like that was the same deal. Cy was right. Cy was saying that it would be a 3rd and a 5th if they trade up with the Giants. So let me put it to both of you guys. Are you happy the Giants stayed and picked Reese, or would you have rather have traded down with the Chiefs, take the same deal, knowing that, and Dave, you know that it would be Mansour that would still be gone probably. Are you glad they sticked and picked?
I would probably trade down. I mean, the haul would have been better because they're moving up an additional pick, which I don't know the math on the value chart, but if we traded with the Chiefs, they'd have to give up more than a 3rd and a 5th in theory.
Yeah, I'm fine with the pick. I like Reese. I think he just gives more options. I still want to get the extra pick, but I think moving 10 is where we can get something different.
John, I think it's funny. Before we came on, you were talking Reese, that you changed your mind on Reese, and you were like, you know what, I've done a 180 on Reese, and you'd be fine with Reese. It's funny that you said that. So,
did you see Steve Tisch is in the draft room? I thought the Giants would be smarter about not doing that.
I didn't see that.
He's definitely there. He was standing right next to John Harbaugh.
I mean, the interesting thing here is like, who's going to be available at 10? You're going to have Tyson, you're going to have Maui Noah, you're going to have Owane.
Caleb Downs is still there. Caleb Downs.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Washington's pick is supposedly in.
I think Washington they wanted Styles. It was the word on the street. Styles is still out there, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's got to be Styles, right?
It may be. I mean, do they go? It sounds like
see them go Tyson or something. They could get crazy.
Sounds like the Saints pick is in too. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Hey, Abdul Carter tweeted out, "We about to get crazy. We about to be crazy with fire." So
that a boy.
Just translate it for me and just tell me what it said.
They're going to get crazy.
There we go. Got you. All right.
I'm expecting John to cue airplane references here soon.
Cut me some slack, Jack.
I'm hearing. Oh, Art Stapleson's hearing that the Saints are interested in Tyson. So if that's true, Tyson's probably going to be off the board if Art's intelligence.
Great.
I don't know why Well, I know why. I find myself kind of pulling for
Downs.
Iwane
Oh,
at 10.
I know, dude.
Or down.
I've been thinking the same thing more so today than any day. Awane at 10. It just screams a Harbaugh pick. But yeah, Styles or Downs there, like tough to.
If they get Downs at 10 and Arvell Reese at 5, that's got to be a home run draft, right? That's
I
got to be a
mean,
home run draft.
based off
Right?
of what everybody, I mean, remains to be seen. But in theory, yes, all the grades they're going to get like right after the draft, sure. Sonny Styles to Washington.
Wait,
Son of a bitch.
is it?
yep.
Yep.
Styles to Washington.
That was the word. That was the word
Oh.
that their head coach was really in on Styles. So
That is going to be painful to experience.
My neighbor's a Commanders fan. Just texted me. He's like, "There we go."
if it make. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
If it makes you feel any better, Dave, the word was that if it wasn't going to be Styles, it was going to be Delane with Washington. So if that makes you feel any better.
No, I mean, I knew.
I mean, they were going to get one of the two.
When people were speculating that Delane would fall out of the top 10, I mean, what a joke that was. He's a shutdown corner, the best corner in the draft. Like, what are we talking about?
It also helps too the fact that it's not a deep corner draft. So if you really need a good one, because McCoy's knee is too questionable.
If he was healthy, then it's a different story.
Right, exactly.
But no, Delane is on a pedestal. So, and a lot of teams need corners. But
I'm looking up the listing on Arvell Reese for my site, so I apologize for a minute here, guys.
No, you're
fine. You're good. Yeah. By the way, John, drinking a 14th star at a St. Albans.
Ooh, wow.
Veteran-owned brewery. Got some Mexican lager.
Nice. All right. I'm gonna have to briefly be back in the hood in June. I gotta go up. I gotta see my dad anyway, but I'm picking up one of my daughter. Who's going to be moving back with us to live here. So be in the old stomping grounds in June. You're outside, but you got the jacket on and stuff because it's a little chilly out there.
Yeah, it's still in the 30s at night up here. So I got my BBI t-shirt on.
Nice.
Figured I would throw on a jacket just because I anticipate it's going to get colder and colder as I'm sitting out here ripping the cigar. I talked to the wife about ripping it in the office, and it actually works out because I'm like in my yard and I'm looking right at my normal big screen TV, which I would have to have everything up on like a computer screen. So I ended up working it. I got my iPad propped up on my grill side table right here, and we're cooking. But yeah, it is still chilly up in Vermont. At least spring has started to pop up. We got some flowers out of the ground this week, so we're trending in the right direction. Snow last Sunday.
That's crazy.
Pretty wild, but hopefully it's the last one. We'll see.
It was 85 here today, so it's
okay.
So Tyson did go to the Saints. So
he did.
Tyson. Tyson.
Wow. So the Giants never. So the only way the Giants would have gotten a wide receiver is if they took him at 5. They would never had a chance at a wide receiver other than that. Would have had to been Tyson at 5 because Tate went 4. So it was out of the Giants' hands unless you take him at 5. And you would have, if the Giants had taken Tyson over Reese, I think there would have been a meltdown. I think that's my take on it.
100%. I mean, if Tyson was completely healthy, then you could make that debate. But I would side on Reese for sure. And no contest in that fight.
Wait a minute. What did I just do? I just screwed something up. This is what happens when you're drinking and trying to do a podcast and a website at the same time.
Nice.
It gets all messed up. What did
it's funny too. Not to change the subject real quick, but last year at this time, right, we're doing the draft, and one of the things we were talking about is whether the Giants were going to get a quarterback, or would it be better to wait for the beloved class of 2026? Was it going to be so much better than 25? Should they wait? here you have Mendoza drafted first. He was not on the list of any quarterbacks last year for 26. He was not. No one had him on their radar to be as part of the top tier of that group. All the guys that people are talking about, you're talking about Beck and Klubnik and Allard, all those guys, which they're in this draft, but they may not even get drafted. If they do, it's going to be way later. Projecting to next year, again, if teams are like, well, maybe I'll look to next year, this NIL and everything else about it has changed the landscape of football. And guys just, they don't reach a level and kind of stay there anymore. Some ascend, some absolutely just disappear. It's drastically changed the draft prospect piece for NFL teams.
Yeah, for sure. Carson Beck, it was being speculated today, is going to go a lot earlier than people are anticipating and could even sneak into the first round. Some people were saying,
Oh my
which
God.
I know.
Wow.
I know. Yep. But I think more day two for sure. It's just, I was listening to Big Blue Kickoff Live earlier, and I didn't catch the whole thing, but they were talking about, Paul was talking about how since whatever the year was, there's only been like 2 drafts that haven't had more than 1 quarterback selected in the first round. So is it going to be Ty Simpson? Is it going to be Carson Beck? I don't think you're really going to throw anybody else in that conversation. Probably going to be Ty Simpson by everybody's speculation, but the 5th-year option, is that enough of a additive piece to lose draft capital to trade up? I mean, if you have a conviction on a quarterback, worked out for the Giants last year doing it with Jackson Dart. So, we'll see.
One of the drafts recently that would have, when I say recently, it's actually a little further back. That would have been the Geno Smith draft, right? Smith would have been, he was expected to possibly go in the first. He slid into the top of the second. There was only 1 quarterback, I believe, that was taken in the first round that year.
Okay.
That's it's not often that you see that. I mean, quarterbacks just go, but
they're a premium. Everybody needs them.
And it's the Cardinals are almost forced into a position. They kept Jacoby Brissett. He's not happy. He's not going to show up to their offseason workouts. So they kind of have to do something to get Love and then turn around and get Simpson, which it sounds like they're going to try to do. We'll see how it plays out for them, but you can see why they're doing it.
Can I interrupt you guys for a second? I've been updating the site. Where are we? Are the Giants on the clock again?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Yeah.
Why are you guys not focused on it? Get focused on the.
I'm paying attention
we're waiting. I mean, here's the thing: is
so
I think we need to
we're on the
determine.
clock.
Well,
yes, the pick is in for New Orleans.
Okay. Yes. It's so
they haven't submitted it.
Oh, they haven't.
The pick is in.
All right.
Since the pick is in, technically the Giants are on the clock.
Wait, aren't we 10?
Oh yeah. Well, Cleveland, I think I saw something that they might be into. So, like, are we spoiling stuff on this, or are we going by the TV show? Because
can I get a quote on the pick? So Ian O'Connor asked a well-placed source what they liked about Arvell Reese. I'm wondering if that's John Harbaugh. He said everything. The response was everything. We love everything about him.
It's interesting. There was that little video that got out where they were at the Ohio State Pro Day, and Harbaugh was having a detailed conversation with Arvell Reese. And it's funny how that kind of comes full circle that he became available for the Giants to get him. I'm liking that pick. I'm liking that pick a lot.
I have to share with you guys. I got so distracted by talking to you and doing this that I didn't post in the forum that the Giants had made the pick. So I went into the forum just now and I said, why are these threads where people saying Arvell Reese is the pick? And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to post it at the top of the forum. So if everyone's wondering why I was late, again, blame my drinking problem.
Well, watch the show and you won't need to be looking in the forum right now.
Wait a minute. Bruce Feldman, Arvell Reese is beloved. What does that mean? Feldman is.
Everybody loves him.
So technically the Giants have made their pick. I'm not going to spoil it here, but the pick is in. I don't know if you guys want to get ahead of it.
I'm It sounds like somebody else is already doing it in chat, so feel free.
Wow. Okay. I'm okay with
Yeah.
that too. Okay. Wow. Do you want to spoil it or
Go for it. Go
it's
for it.
Francis Mauanoa.
No. Yeah, and we had him at 5 in our first mock draft, but regardless, the Giants did get him. So nice.
Cleveland took Spencer Fano for those asking in the chat. So they passed on Caleb Downs.
Yeah, which is surprising, but they had 2 shots at him. They didn't take him, so that tells you something. So
I just think I think Downs is going to be a really good player. He doesn't have the special attributes to me to say this is the guy. He's not Kyle Hamilton. He doesn't have the same size. He doesn't have the same overall athletic ability. I think he's going to be on a team that's loaded, and you bring him in, he's going to be a great player. He's going to be a Brian Branch like it is for the Lions with all the other players that they have. But for the Giants right now, you've got a bunch of guys at safety, and if you bring them in, sure, but they would have had a weakness elsewhere. We filled the defensive weakness in front of them. You do have a big weakness at offensive line. I mean, I get you still could have gone Downs, but I'm pretty happy with the pick because Mauanoa is going to be a better guard. I think he's going to be a better guard than he would be a tackle anyway. And I think it's a great pick.
I think he can play both. And I've said this since December that Francis Mauanoa has Baltimore Raven offensive lineman written all over him. I think Ioane did too, but Francis Mauanoa just looks like a Baltimore Raven. And I think the first time we had Sty on here way back and when did we have him? January? Whenever it was, I made that comment and he said the same thing. And so I just think this is such a John Harbaugh selection to me. And the thing that's great about this pick is, as John just said, he plays right guard for you right now. And then in a year or two, probably 2 years, maybe 3, we'll see. When you move on from Illuminor, he can go outside, and you got your tackle still there. And tackles are always harder to find than guards. So I really like this pick. I was leaning towards Ioane, but I'm perfectly fine with Francis. And it tells me that they think his back is okay. So
the medicals had to checked out. Something about a disc or something. But that kind of came up pretty late in the process. So was that more smoke? Who knows? The thing that I would say real quick on the Maui Noah front is my favorite part about it is when inevitably, knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but one of our tackles gets injured, then he can just kick in. We haven't had a solution for one of our tackles getting injured in I can't tell you how long. So that is something that I didn't expect to come out of here with as like a premium position, just because we re-signed Illuminor, we have Thomas. I was expecting potentially, like you're saying, Eric, premier guard, but didn't expect Maui Noah to even fall. I mean, he was being talked about as high as 3.
It's 3 with the everyone had him with the Cardinals at 3 forever, and everyone who was asking about his back, again, the teams have the medical record, so no one's going to draft Maui Noah in the top 10 if his back's an issue. So I wouldn't worry about that, guys. The thing is, I never thought he would go at 3 for the reasons why we've talked about here. Is he's a right tackle at best, and at worst he's a guard, and you just don't take guards and right tackles at 3. It never made sense to me that when people were saying the Cardinals were going to take Maui Noah with a trade down, yes, but it never made sense with me. I will say this too. This really takes the pressure off the Giants in the second round, having to, because everyone was thinking second round, one of the guards, Besantis or Pregnon or Reynolds, one of those guards. Now they can use that second round pick either on a corner or a nose tackle at that point, or a wide receiver. Now they don't have to. So now they don't have to. They've checked that box. So there's going to be a run on offensive linemen in the first round, and there was a chance that the best offensive linemen were going to be off the board by the time the Giants roll came around. I do agree with Dave Del Cole, who said repeatedly on all of his shows that there's a bunch of interesting third day offensive linemen. So I would not be surprised if the Giants even double dip on the offensive
Oh
line,
yeah, for sure.
at some point.
Yep.
So on day 3, but they don't have to do it now on day 2.
Well,
How
because
long do you think it's going to take for the Giants fan base to be able to pronounce this guy's last name correctly?
They're still having trouble spelling guys that are on the roster like neighbors.
Oh man.
I mean, I think as far as the offensive line goes, you got to keep in mind too. There's still a number of guys that their contracts basically are up after this year. You know, you don't know what you're going to have in Schmitz. So I do think they'll get a center later in the draft, unless they plan on moving Bo to center, which is a possibility. But you know, you still don't want to just assume a projection. So you probably are going to try to get a guy who actually has played center, especially if you can get him late or undrafted. They might go the undrafted route, but they will definitely get somebody along those lines because you're going to have some spots open next year. And Runyon, you definitely would like to get away from that deal for sure, because I don't think he's lived up to what they were hoping for.
I've got people on my site yelling at me for posting the pick early, but it's all over Twitter. It's all. I mean, I guess
they're announcing it. They're announcing.
Well,
it right
this is why I asked though. It's an etiquette thing. Like a lot of pure draft people don't be on your phone at that point. Like if you want to watch it pure play, then you need to just tune in and watch it. You know what I mean? If you're on your phone, you should expect to have it spoiled. I've got a gazillion text messages, you know, and I'm sure that half of them are spoiling stuff to me. Twitter, BBI, I don't think that you can expect on the internet to not have pick spoiled places. But since we were doing that, like, I don't know, you got to just like set whatever standard you want. I don't mind. The stream takes so long. The NFL just does so much shit that.
Well, I was going to say we're 3 picks behind according to people on the site. They're 3 picks behind.
Yeah,
it's
right.
not even 1. They're 3 picks behind. All right,
Yeah.
Dave. I didn't mean to cut you off.
So the
you're
Cowboys are moving. The Cowboys are moving up.
Okay.
So they basically just jumped.
Bain? It's got to be Bain, right?
I don't know yet.
Or Downs, dude.
Or down. Shit. Shit. Okay, it's down. It's probably Downs.
Man,
right?
imagine we come out of this feeling so good about our picks, but then at the same time, Sonny Styles goes to the Commanders, and then Caleb Downs goes to the Cowboys, and we got to see both of them twice a year.
Some combination of that was going to happen at some point. That's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I never worry about the guys we didn't get. As long as the players you got turn out to be the players you expected them to be, shit happens.
Yeah, it's more so the fact
but
that
if you
like,
swing and miss,
all the Caleb Down fans, everybody who's been touting him this entire process is like the top guy. If you're a Giants fan and you've been enamored with Caleb Downs and now he goes to the Cowboys and you got to root against him, like that just that is one of the worst parts of the draft process for me.
Yes.
For me is I fall in love with prospects and then they go to teams I don't want to root for them on, and then I'm conflicted, you know.
Watching the highlights right now of Maui Noah here.
It's got to be Downs, right? If they're trading up for him, right? Don't you think it's Downs they're trading up for, right?
Well, I mean,
or Bain. Like I think either of those make. Or do they need an offensive lineman? Because
that's true too.
Iwani is sitting there.
Is Maui Noah the first Samoan who's played for the Giants? Oh no, we had the throwing Samoan. No. They were going to think about drafting the throwing Samoan. That's right.
The Cowboys select Caleb Downs.
Is he the first Samoan?
Didn't we? Did Vai Sikahema play for us briefly?
I don't think
I thought
so.
he did I thought he did at one point.
We had one of the Eagles returners play for us, but I don't think
that was Brian Mitchell.
Brian Mitchell.
Wow, I'm loving his garb he's got going on here.
What reaction have you guys been watching the reaction in chat? Because I've been updating the site. Is everyone happy or are people upset? I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
I think so far it's been pretty positive. I think so far.
I mean,
it's
how
funny
can it
for
not
the positions for both of these? I've got there are always going to be people that are not happy.
Yeah.
And
that was one of the things that Paul Dottino and I were talking about the other week when he came on my show. He's like, I'm not looking forward to after the draft, because we're just going to be getting calls in and people are going to be furious no matter which way it ends up going. And they're going to be even more furious now that, again, Styles on the Commanders and Downs on the Cowboys. That's
I want to
brutal.
ask. I want to talk to one of these the teams. I want to ask, what is the whole process of when you make your pick and then the camera comes on and you guys act like you just won the effing lottery? Like, are you told to overdo it? I mean,
No, I think they're just excited. I mean, you think about it, the minute the draft ends, they're back on the road. They're working on the next draft. So it's the culmination of a year's worth of work finally playing out. And
yeah, but watching Jerry Jones excited like that seems a bit, I mean, come on. I mean,
I do think it's overstated because sometimes they don't get a guy, but like I can understand why the Cowboys would be celebrating getting Caleb Downs at 11, because everybody speculated there's no shot he makes it past the Giants at 10. So here they are with him falling in their lap.
I'm really glad it worked out that way, because quite frankly, I never saw it with Downs. I was really pretty.
Do we know what the compensation was?
Yeah, they got they got pick 12. Then I think it was a 5th round and a 6th
here it is.
round.
2 5th-round picks. They got 2 5th
rounders.
Yeah, for one spot.
Yeah. Now, so they must have feared that somebody was trying to trade up to get Downs in front of them. So they wanted to head that off at the pass.
Keep in mind, the Giants gave up way more when they traded up one spot to get Jeremy Shockey. They didn't give up 2 5th rounders. They gave up way more than that. It was a premium pick that switched with the Titans. I was at that draft.
Did you guys see what Francis Mauigoa just told Jackson Dart?
No.
I'm ready to die for you, man.
Will Campbell all over again. Here we go.
Nice. I would prefer that you kill, but that's okay. You know,
Yeah,
one or the other.
I die for this shit. I'm ready to die for you, man. That's exactly.
Let's go. Let's go. Love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, that really does change the identity of the offensive line. As complacent as we all were with like foregoing it in the first round, you talk about identity players in a position that has just been a revolving door for us for God knows how long. Illuminor has a bit of an attitude streak to him, so I don't mind that. But like JMS, a pretty like by the book guy. Andrew Thomas, not like, you know, extroverted by any means, from what I can tell. So bringing in an identity changer, I mean, that is the Harbaugh way, and makes a ton of sense.
It's such, and I'm repeating myself, it's such a Harbaugh pick. I mean, he just looks like a. Now, that being said, the Ravens, as Dave and Cy both have brought up before, you know, they don't tend to draft offensive linemen in the first round that much.
Right.
So,
the thing that I pointed out to you was the one time that they did was Michael Orr, and it was the year after they drafted Joe Flacco.
And didn't they draft Staley in the first round or no? Did they?
Staley? Yes. Staley was first. And wasn't Tyler Linderbaum? He was also a first round pick.
Yes. No, what was he second? Was second?
No, Linderbaum's a one.
Right.
Linderbaum's a one.
Was he at the end of the first round though?
I guess.
They always draft. They always draft late. So
yeah. I guess what I was talking about was more of because Michael Orr was a high pick, right?
He was pretty high.
Yeah,
13 or so, something like that.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting that like Joe Flacco one year, then Michael Orr the next year. They got Jackson Dart last year, and then it's like, all right, let's get Francis Mauigoa this year.
You're both familiar with Chad Forbes, I would assume. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Chad Forbes. Caleb Downs is the most overrated player in recent draft history. Non-premium position, marginal to average athlete for NFL, undersized, plays least important role at safety, undersized big nickel.
Well, the thing that's interesting is this, right or wrong, the Giants passed on him twice. Right or wrong, they had 2 shots at him. So
let them know, Eric.
Well, you sound like Ryan Dunleavy, who just said they passed on him twice and then he went to the Cowboys. I'm like, can you ever be happy about anything?
No, I'm not
you,
yeah,
Ryan Dunleavy.
I just don't want to be thrown in with Ryan. telling me on this. I'm just saying I think it's kind of telling that they had two shots at him, and it doesn't mean they didn't like him. They just liked other people more. So
it never made sense just from like the size standpoint, as far as I was concerned. Like, he's a small safety, and to go in the top 10, everybody compare like Emmanuel, Derwin James, Kyle Hamilton. Like, you look at all these safeties that everybody talks about as like the blue chip safeties, and they're all way larger than Caleb Downs. I do think it's funny that Mansour Delane went ahead of Caleb Downs by a wide margin, no less.
16 minutes ago, Pat Leonard, the Giants are putting out that they don't intend to trade Kayvon now.
Yeah, why would they?
Giants making a point to say, I personally would, but that's just me.
Well, no, I mean, it keeps the pressure off of Reese. It allows him to acclimate without like having to be in the limelight straight away.
Well, true, but you can get other guys to play, and you already have multiple linebackers that play outside. If Thibodeau gets injured, you get absolutely nothing from this dude. Nothing.
No, you get a comp pick if he signs a big deal in free agency.
But again, if he gets injured, he might not sign a big deal with anybody either. Yeah. It's a roll of the dice.
If you're trying to trade him, though, you're not telling people you're looking to trade him.
Well, true, but you don't also say I'm not trading him.
Sure. Because then because you want teams to come to you, you're basically telling them we're not giving them away right now. I don't read that much in it. Remember, we're talking about the same GM that they're not going to trade Kadarius Toney. I don't,
wow.
We know Kayvon was on the trade market before. There's no reason. There's even more of a reason to trade him now. I don't believe that for a second. That doesn't mean they won't trade him during the draft. Look, but if somebody calls the Giants and offers them a second round pick tonight or tomorrow, they're taking it. I don't think they will. Hence, the Giants aren't going to trade him. But if somebody called the Giants and said a 2 for Kayvon, they're going to trade him. I mean, I don't believe that for a second, but he's off the table. Why would he?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, why would he have been on the table a month ago, and now after Arvell Reese is on the team, he's off the table? I don't believe that for a second. But that's me.
Is there a scenario where Kayvon plays decently well this year, takes a hometown discount, and they re-sign him?
No, not me. But there is a scenario where he plays well. He signs a big, huge contract in the off season, and the Giants get a comp pick for him. So the Giants are going to have to weigh potential comp pick, which we now know the Giants Harbaugh is hyper focused on because they're waiting on DJ Reader till after the draft because they want the 4th round comp pick. But so they're going to have to weigh any mid-season trade offer versus what they might think they can get in a comp pick scenario formula.
Are we all in agreement though that Kayvon probably has zero interest in re-signing here? That he probably wants to move more than likely out west. Is
maybe
kind of where you're
the only thing that like brings me to ask it is if I'm Kayvon and it's like, all right, I could go sign a bigger deal on a shittier team that has a ton of cap space that isn't going to be competing, or I could stay here, and if the Giants are on the trajectory everybody's anticipating they'll go on, then be a part of like a winning team, a winning culture, and have a shot at making some headway in the playoffs. Like when he's been on a losing team for his entire first contract, like I think he might be more willing to. I don't know, it depends on his ego, you know what I mean? But
right.
Caden Proctor went 12 to the Dolphins.
You're shitting me.
So the tackles are running now.
He went ahead of Lomu and
Lomu, yep.
Oh man,
Miller
and
wow.
Nobody's Ioane.
Oh
yep.
Yeah, you're right. And oh man, I don't see that. He makes me nervous. He was the one.
A lot of people were talking about Caden Proctor going a lot higher. Like I was hearing stuff that like Detroit was the floor for him.
I don't know how you don't have the Alabama offensive line PTSD kind of deal. You know what I mean? Their offensive linemen have failed horribly in the NFL.
One's got to break that cycle eventually. It's not like it's going to go like that forever, but
they just showed a highlight where they threw a screen pass to him, and all I could think of was that dumbass play that we tried to run against the Steelers with Daniel Jones, and we had like Evan Neal lined up, and he didn't know what he was doing. Oh my God! Wow, at least Caden Proctor caught the ball and did something with it. Good for you, buddy.
All right, this is Size right up on Twitter. Arvell Reese, edge, Ohio State, hybrid linebacker edge for a second straight year, which gives this defensive staff incredible options in all situations. Violence, fast, versatile, and a guy that builds into the New York Giant identity of being dominant along the defensive front. And then on Mawanoa, he said, will be the starting right guard week 1 and potentially long-term solution at right tackle once Illuminor is done. This was the most sensible pick for a team that had, and he would put that in caps, had to support Jackson Dart as he heads into year 2. A mauler with quick enough feet to develop into a better body control and time. You won't have an easy time finding him lose ground to anyone on tape. So Si's happy with both picks too, which I know he wanted to get an offensive lineman with this team. So
crazy interruption here. Jay Glazer apparently has speculated that the Rams are going to select Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson with pick number 13.
Yeah,
it's not confirmed, but
their pick is in, so
then maybe it is. That was from like 6 minutes ago or something, so that had been out there for a second.
He did.
I just haven't been looking at my phone.
He had a thing earlier that he had mentioned that he thought there was something.
Yeah, he knew there was something going on, and he couldn't say anything yet. But I guess that's it.
Ian O'Connor. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I think that also falls on the heels of there's talk that Jimmy Garoppolo was going to retire, so that definitely put them in a need spot. And you've got Matthew Stafford isn't getting any younger.
Ian O'Connor, again, remember, he's connected to Harbaugh, just tweeted out, well-placed Giants source on Francis Mawanoa.
He's like me.
Yes. Road grader can play inside or right offensive tackle. So I'm assuming that's coming from Harbaugh. And then Jordan Renan just tweeted, Mawanoa is the Giants pick at 10. Would think he slides inside the right guard. Multiple sources told me all pro guard. So the Giants are very happy, it seems like. Not that they wouldn't be telling people that, but they actually seem very happy with their picks.
And I did see multiple posts about a herniated disc, but that there were a number of teams and coaches that felt it wouldn't be a problem, but they can't guarantee the long term.
Right. We'll see, because the Beats are going to absolutely bash that question into the ground during the press conferences.
That's all they've got.
Yeah.
I mean, they like to get a story going. So and the player's going to say I'm fine, and the Giants are going to say he's fine. So look, I'm not overly worried about that because the Giants would have checked him out. I'm not worried about that. Look, I saw a few Miami games this year, even before the playoff games, and every time I watched Miami on offense, I was drawn to him because he even looks bigger than his listed size, and he just mauls people. I mean, he just destroys people in the running game. He's such a Ravens lineman, and you're not going to be able to bull rush him either. So, I mean, he's our offensive line on the right side. You've got two big boys now, both 330 pounds. Schmitz is a small guy now. And then you got, I don't think Runyon's long for this team, but he'll be fine this year. And
let's not forget Falele.
I know Falele could, I mean, again, I don't think Falele is going to beat out Runyon, but it's not out of the possibility that Neal, Runyon, or Izudu push Runyon. No, I don't expect him to lose his job, but if I'm Runyon, I'm not counting on guaranteed having job security there either.
Again, it's just good depth when injuries happen.
Yep.
I mean, when is the last time that this offensive line has gone through a season without a litany of injuries?
Yeah, because now, Dave, you've talked about this when you and I spoke months ago. and we might have been even talking about Malinois at the time. I'm not sure. But now say Andrew Thomas gets hurt.
Yep.
You can put Illuminor at left tackle, and you can put Malinois at right tackle, and you don't miss much of a beat. I mean, again, you
and
don't.
then Falele slides in at right guard or whatever.
Slides in at right guard. So I mean, the offensive line, not only starters now, the depth situation is night and day. The Giants, depth-wise, may have one of the better offensive lines in the league right now.
So 15 minutes ago, Mike Garafolo, the Giants worked closely with the Hurricanes' athletic training and medical staffs leading up to the draft. They were supremely confident in the info they got on Malinois's back.
Okay, I'll find that and retweet that too. Thanks.
Yep.
So Garafolo?
Yes.
Garafolo. Who's a good dude. I've met him in person when he used to cover the Giants, and he's as nice as he seems on TV.
He was one of our originals back in the day. I used to be able to just message him and be like, "Can you come on?" And he's like, "Okay."
This is the Newark Star Ledger days.
Yes, back in the day. Yes.
Yeah,
now he's too big. Now he's too big for us.
I mean, he really made that site the only thing they had for the longest time. Never heard about them again after he left.
What time was that tweet, John? How old was that tweet from Garafolo?
15 minutes ago.
Okay. For some reason, I don't see it. I see him tweeting about Malinois, but I don't. Maybe it's in the response. Why? I'm in his feed. It's no biggie. I'll look at his replies. Maybe it's in his replies. Oh, there it is. Okay, I see it.
You got it. Okay.
Okay, I'll post it on BBI too. That's good. Okay.
Which pick do you think Giants fans are going to be more upset about, Reese or Malinois?
I think they'll be confused. I think they'll be confused by Reese
really?
Yeah,
I think Reese, honestly.
I think they will see him as only an outside linebacker. So they'll see him only as not all Giants fans, but many. They'll see him as like the same guy as Brian Burns. And the thing is, again, Abdul Carter is not a one position player either. So the year before Abdul Carter came to the Giants, he was an off-ball linebacker too. Both Arvell Reese and Abdul Carter are similar in that sense. But I tell you what, Reese is the guy that you want setting the edge more than Carter. So we actually may see Carter kind of go back to the role he was in earlier in the year. But it's going to be cool. They're going to be moving all over the place. These guys.
Could you imagine being a quarterback and like looking out into the coverage of a defense, and you've got Arvell Reese on the end, and then Abdul Carter at linebacker staring you in the face, and then the next play you go back to the line of scrimmage and they're switched?
Yeah,
right.
And they can do that. And the other thing, I was going to say, the other thing that's cool about this whole setup is just, it gives the Giants, like Cy said, an identity. You know, it just gives them like the heart of the defense is the linebacking crew, like it was in the 1980s in a way. Now,
well, even back to the Super Bowls more recently when they had the NASCAR packages. I mean, they could do that again now.
Right. It's going to be interesting to compare the career of Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese, and it's going to be interesting to watch as Dave talked about. What Downs does in Dallas, and it's going to be interesting for the Jets fans to see how Reese does in comparison with Bailey. So there's going to be a lot of window shopping or whatever you want to call it here. People looking and saying, I wonder how they're doing. So because they're Downs had his supporters with Giants fans, and I was kind of rooting for Downs too. So I'll be curious to see. You know, I hope he doesn't. I don't wish ill on anybody, but I just hope he doesn't play lights out in the NFL.
One thing we might have like lost in the shuffle here is the fact that Spencer Fano went before Malinois as the first offensive lineman off the board.
Right.
Yeah.
Which that's also, a wild development. I'm just looking back at the ticker.
Yeah, I got to catch up to you guys. So after Dallas took...
So we're at Simpson's the one that's being shown right now.
Yeah, Simpson just got selected
to the Rams.
Yep.
And talk about a good spot for him. You know, you can sit behind Stafford. And they've got, I mean, it's a hell of a, they just, even though they've lost some of the coaches, their coaching staff, they just seem to develop coaches that come through. They've got great players all over the board. That's a great position for him. The Cardinals would have been a much different environment. The expectation would have been huge to go in there because no one's counting on Jacoby Brissett to be more than a one-year dude for next year. If he's even that guy, I don't think he's very happy with the situation.
All right, so before we focus on the rest of the draft, we're happy, right? Happy?
I'm happy. Yeah.
Happy?
Yeah.
Not upset.
Yeah. I mean, not upset. I mean,
It's like,
this
yeah.
is well. So
You wanted Mansour.
I mean, the Tate or Mansour, but and
Tate
yes,
was
Tate
on
was
the
gone.
board,
So
but
yeah,
Tate
no,
was
I know, but like I'm just saying, generally speaking, like those were the two guys that I wanted to come away with at least one of them to be more elated than I am currently.
All right, let me
Every
put
time
this,
that we
Dave.
do
Hey,
this,
Dave, if you're doing your simulator and the draft went the way it did, and and Mansour and Reese,
I'm taking
there,
Mansour.
You are okay.
Yeah,
At least you're being honest. At least you're being honest.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, when have I deviated from Mansour? There have been like a couple times when I've like tried to convince myself of like Tate or Styles. Like those are really the only other two considerations I ever had at 5.
But you never thought Reese would be there either. So that's why I was asking you. I don't think
even if he did, because there were conversations where that came up, and I think I talked about that with Schmelk one time on my show, where he was like, I would have to take Reese, and I'm like, I'm still going Mansour, dude. Call me crazy.
Schmelk said that yesterday or 2 days on in one of his shows. He said, if Reese is there, I got to take him. Oh,
Yeah.
It was with Tony. It was with Tony when they were doing their final mock. He said, if Reese is there when the Giants pick, I've got to take Reese. And so did, I think Tony said, Pauline said.
But that's what I'm driving at, is it's like it made too much sense not to do it scenario versus like we got our guy scenario. There have been so many times where in the first round we've come away. I mean, think back to the Evan Neal, Kayvon Thibodeau year, and everybody, we're happy, right? And then how that so that's where you get a pause out of me, because in theory, yes, it all makes sense. They'll get good draft grades by pundits after the fact. I'm not upset about it by any means. So it's not like it's a down thing for me, but
right.
They're not the guys that I wanted. So,
and I hear you on the 22 draft, and that's true. Like, we were all excited about it. The one thing I'll say about the 22 draft, though, is it was fairly chalk for the Giants. Like, Thibodeau was kind of targeted to the Giants. If he was there, the Giants were taking Thibodeau. Reese is the name that didn't come up much because he was expected to be gone. No one was talking about Reese to the Giants. Everybody was talking about Styles, Downs. They were talking about Tyson, all this other stuff, because Reese was supposed to go. He doesn't go. So to me, and by the way, the guard from Penn State just went to
Vega,
just went to
Baltimore.
That's a Raven. I mean, Raven pick. There's the other again. To me, Iwane and
easily mocked,
and Malinoa were Raven type linemen. Yeah, that made sense too.
So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. The Malinoa and Neal comparisons will obviously, because again, 2 first-round picks, back then, 2 first-round picks now, will be there. But I gotta hope that a guy who was just a bit more. There was something about Neal that I always didn't like it throughout, and it's not revisionist history. I didn't like it when the Giants. I thought he was still the pick, but he was on the ground a lot at Alabama. He would be down on the ground a lot, and I was kind of like, why is the dude so big? Like constantly, like kind of like he's reaching for guys and ends up on the ground. I didn't like that. Now, was he miscast with the Giants right away? And they didn't know what to do with him. He had injuries, and then they just didn't. This bullshit that you can't move guys to a different position when the Chiefs are playing guards at tackle when they needed to, and the Giants go, well, he didn't practice at guard, so we can't play him there. What the hell are you talking about? He's 335 pounds. Put him at guard. He'll be fine. They didn't even bother to try. So maybe he develops into something, but he didn't then. So Malinoa, on the other hand, you got to hope is going to be a little bit different. But again, like you said, hey, we all thought it was big. We hit the jackpot in 22, and it turned out to not be that way.
Well, don't get it twisted. I like Malinoa way more than Evan Neal. You know what I mean? But like, I think these players are better than the Evan Neal, Kayvon Thibodeau draft. So I'm not comparing that apples
You
to
better hope
apples.
they are.
Yeah.
But in fairness, though, they were both at the top of the list.
Yeah, right.
For their positions when they're in that draft.
Right,
Yeah,
draft
yeah.
guys. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like,
I mean, Dallas
trying
had
to
them 1
figure
and
out.
2. Remember, their draft board got
Right.
Now,
next
that's another way
pick
to.
is in real quick. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers get Ruben Bain,
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
which, I mean, what a steal for them at
What a
15.
steal. Yeah, that's a huge steal for on a team that
Desperately
built around
needs
it.
defensive line help.
Yeah. Another way to look at the Giants picks are this. All up until this day, Reese was being mocked, or this week, I should say. Reese was being mocked number 2, and Maui Noah was being mocked number 3 by the experts. So just keep that in mind. So when Dave talks about the grades, and the grades don't really matter all that much, but the grades that will come out should be really positive with the Giants, because to many, the Giants got the second and third people that they were mocking in their mocks.
It's funny. It's funny. I have a child who tells me the grades don't matter either.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always said that to my parents too.
All right, here's some quotes. Some quotes coming in from John Harbaugh. We got 2 of our top 5 players.
Yeah.
Let me see. John Harbaugh. So basically, and for all intents and purposes, we traded Dexter Lawrence for Francis Mauigoa. That's the way to look at this. So
that is an interesting way to look at this. Yeah.
Again, these are 2 of the top 5 players, in my opinion.
Yep.
Mauigoa will start at guard, according to Shane. Well, no shit. Let me see.
Here's Chad Forbes. Both Giants first-round picks, Arvell Reese, the best player in the draft, and Francis Mauigoa, are 20 years old. Young, ascending football players with untapped potential. Home run first draft for Harbaugh.
It says, wait a minute. This was important too. Wait a minute. Giants say Arvell Reese and Francis Mauigoa were 2 of the top 5 players. Didn't think this combo was possible. Joe Shane did a ton of simulated drafts. This one did not.
Man.
We should be GM. We
should.
We did it.
This one did not come up when they did simulations, they said. So,
but did he get wood when he was doing
wood? Did he get wood?
I want to see his simulator numbers. How many simulators are we talking?
There it is. Arvell Reese will, according to Harbaugh, Arvell Reese will start off at inside linebacker next
Let's
to
go.
Edmonds. He'll move
Nice.
He'll move all over. Says he was their top non-quarterback on the board. So they got in their mind, they got the second best player in the draft.
Yep.
So their best player in the draft if you don't count quarterback. John Harbaugh said Arvell Reese's quickness was shocking at the pro day. There's nothing really he can't do physically. So that was, by the way, Harbaugh, Connor was talking to, because that was the same thing, that everything he can do everything. So when you see
sources,
his sources is John Harbaugh.
Here's a good one. John Harbaugh on the Dexter Lawrence trade. We wanted Dexter to be happy, but we wanted to take care of the Giants first. Tonight, it's pretty clear cut that it's a win for us.
Yeah,
that's John Harbaugh.
Did he say that really? Wow. By the way, John, the Jets took Sadiq too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Oh, okay.
Which,
all right.
Interesting. A year after they draft Mason Taylor.
Yeah, I was like, they're going back to the well on the. Did they do that with Johnny Mitchell and Kyle Brady?
No.
I'm pretty sure they went Johnny Mitchell tight end 1 year, and then they went Kyle Brady the next year.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, they did. I don't know if it was back to back, but yes, they did. These quotes are great. I mean, I tell you what, John Harbaugh isn't shy about.
Yeah, I like that he's speaking his mind right now. That's awesome.
As more quotes come in, guys, I'll read them off to you, and I will have the full transcript with the players and the John Harbaugh and Joe Shane. When I get off, I'll get those up on the website. on bigblueinteractive.com. So
I miss the days of we got to protect the Duke and you got to throw with the dirty pocket and whatever other bullshit our random coaches came up with that they would say. Yeah, I like having a coach who's actually like his first press conference, when the first meeting with everybody. We're here to win championships. That's what we're here to do. The idea is to win, and we expect to win.
Kenneth, this would be my dream scenario. I'm not expecting it, but if that happens, every time I do a simulation, if McDonald's there, I don't trade down. I grab him at 37.
So I've had a few buddies trying to get me to do full first round mocks this week. And like, how's it going to play out? I did a couple of those, and there was not a single one where I couldn't make multiple cases for Caden McDonald. So somewhere in the 20s. I just think it's more far-fetched than we might anticipate. But Schmelk pointed out one time I talked to him but Schmelk pointed out that run stuffing defensive tackles, I'm sure others have said this as well, have a tendency to fall 2-down run stuffers. So he fits that bill. Who knows? But there are some teams that really need defensive tackle help. So
what we really want to see happen right now is an offensive line run and a wide receiver run right now. Unless you really want the Giants to get a wide receiver at 2. But if you want the Giants to get like someone like McDonald, you want a wide receiver run and an offensive line run right now.
Well, then if it goes like that, then you're faced with the conundrum of cornerback versus defensive tackle. And everybody seems to lean more defensive tackle these days, particularly off the back of the Dexter Lawrence trade. So I could see it.
But I'd be happy with a top-ranked corner too, because I was in on Mansour too. So if there is a corner there, so if McDonald's not there and there's a corner there, I'd draft the corner. Every time I get to that second round pick, me personally, I always took a defensive tackle or a corner at that spot. I always passed on wide receivers, and unless Denzel Boston was never there. I never got Denzel Boston appearing at 37, so I never went that route.
No, he's not making it either.
Yeah.
What'll be interesting is if what you brought up a little while ago, Dave, if the Cardinals or anybody else, but let's say it's the Cardinals, are desperate for a quarterback. So they feel they need to move back into the bottom of 1 to get Beck. That just pushes another player down into the second round. You got to hope, like you said, Eric, offensive line continues to run because we got our guy. We got our guy.
We got our offensive lineman. So
I doubt that they would turn around, even if they have a guy highly rated, that they would go offensive line again. In the second round, it seems unlikely. So you got to assume that that's off. So let the offensive lineman run here. Wide receiver
Lions
is kind
take
of weird.
Blake Miller, by the way. So the offensive line is running.
Can I give you a Dan Duggan said too? He said John Harbaugh and Joe Shane were flying high in the presser to announce their first picks. That they were really, really thrilled. Again, remember, this is an 18-year veteran head coach who's won a Super Bowl. So it's not John Harbaugh isn't one to just get all giddy for nothing. So
Ian O'Connor, Giants had Arvell Reese as their number 1 non-quarterback player on their board.
Yeah. Well, and I'm particularly thrilled that they're playing him at inside linebacker because that's what we need more. So great that he can go outside and blitz occasionally in certain packages, but the fact that they're coming out of the gate, dedicating him as an inside linebacker, and then Micah McFadden is your backup.
Right.
Like that I'm so much more comfortable with because Micah McFadden for a full season, I feel like he'd get injured again, but him as a backup is great.
Oh, sure. And in a way, again, it's kind of like the Maui Noah thing too, Dave, is because Maui Noah and Reese can both play 2 positions. You can adjust
the versatility.
So
that is a good point to call out as a theme is they prioritize versatility across multiple positions with these first 2 picks. And is that going to be a continued theme throughout the rest of the draft?
It could be just coincidence too. I just throw it out there.
Yeah, no, it certainly could be, but it's interesting that it coincides like that.
I'm actually feeling pretty good, and it's not because
Yeah.
I've been drinking tonight. And this is pretty good.
I'm
I don't
blowing.
usually feel bad after a draft. It's only like when it's Thomas Lewis, like we were talking earlier, or something like that. That I'm trying to think of. There were other drafts like that with the Giants, but the Reese one, I mean, the Thomas Lewis one stands out.
Well, there was, I mean, the was it 96, the draft where we ended up with Cedric Jones, because the 4 picks we wanted.
Yeah, that one pissed me off too. And then they didn't know he was blind in one eye. Yeah, what do you mean? Which was weird because it was actually in like Our Lads or something. One of the draft guides, I don't remember which one, mentioned that he had a eye issue, but the Giants didn't know about it.
Well, that's because when the Giants tested him, they said cover your eye. He did, and then they said okay, and then he covered the same eye again. It's like no, you got to do both eyes.
I will be back in 2 seconds. I gotta grab another lighter. My cigar's out.
All right, bud.
I have to get another drink here in a second. Wait a minute. John Harbaugh. Let's see. Wait a minute. The plan to start Noah. I don't see any new quotes. I think they're done. But I'll have the full quotes out soon. Noah is a big dude. I'll tell you that. Let's see. Noah tells.
Oh,
I like running back.
thing.
I like running backs running that run over somebody. Yeah, and that's the type of guy he is. You don't want Scatterboo.
Talking about Scatterboo. Yep.
This is going to be fun. Now we got a big effing guard that's going to just maul the shit out of people. This is going to be fun. Now, if they get another guard like this down the road that replace John Runyon, or if by some miracle Evan Neal or Falele can like Falele wasn't a bad player. He wasn't good, but he wasn't like this train wreck the Raven fans make them out to be. As Dave said earlier, at the very least, he's good depth. And he started 34 games for the Ravens the last 2 years. And again, he mauls people. So at the very least,
he played 1,000 snaps last year.
Right.
So, I mean, again, first off, the Giants still could move. Let's say they get somebody else. We don't know what their long-term plan is for Runyon, period. He's $9 million on the cap this year. If they decide to move him, if they wanted to get out, he might not fit what they do. We don't even know what they're looking. They want bigger offensive linemen. That's obvious. They want big physical. And I don't know that Runyon, he's a pumped up as big as he's going to get, but he's not that physical mauler.
No, he's a technician. And he's not a bad player, but he just doesn't fit what they want to do long term. Look, this line is actually going to be pretty decent pass blocking. You got Malino is a good pass blocker. So you got him and Illuminor, who's the strength of the Illuminor's game is pass blocking. We know what Andrew Thomas is. He can pass block. Runyon's a good pass blocker. Schmitz had his best year with the Giants. The offensive line is actually going to be a strong point with the team right now. I'm thinking long-term next step, they want to get that left guard to go and just make this a monster offensive line. And again, that's where if best case scenario is Falele comes into camp and he's just like, holy crap, is this guy really good? Or somehow by some miracle, the light bulb comes on with Evan Neal and he doesn't get hurt anymore. I'm not counting on it. I'm just saying
I know.
That would be the ultimate, because then you would have 330-pound linemen other than Schmitz across the board, and you could just beat the crap out of people with the running game. And then you got Malik Neighbors and Likely with the passing game. The question for you two guys is this. I don't want to influence your opinions, but I'm not looking at wide receiver at the top of round 2 unless something weird happens. Are you guys looking at when are you guys looking at wide receiver, or is it later on day 3, or you're thinking maybe we don't even get a wide receiver in this draft?
Every time I've done the simulators, much like you've always gone defensive tackle in the 2nd, I always go wide receiver in the 4th.
And who are you looking at from wide receivers in the 4th? Like,
you guys know I like the big body guys. It's like the Malachi Fields, the Elijah Surratt's, the Jacoby Lanes. Like there's got to be one of them hanging around.
So Malachi Fields would be a good fit. I would.
He would be the ideal one. Yeah.
I think and he won't, but if he did, if Boston slides, he's got to be a consideration for the Giants at the top of 2.
I don't think he does. It's like Concepcion or Bernard are kind of like, or if you really like Brazel that much, but
yeah, that's if you went Tennessee again with a guy who's questionable on what he can do. Like he seems like he's a one-trick pony. They did have was it Hurston? But that again, you're looking 4th round.
I'm not a Hurst guy.
I'm not.
I mean, a lot of people do. We're talking about him in day 2, so it's not crazy. But I just don't like his elevation in draft stock this cycle was absolutely bananas to me. The one that's interesting, particularly if you're keeping with the multiple like scheme positions theme, Jeremy Bernard.
Right.
Like when I was talking to Cy the other day, brought him up. I said he kind of reminds me of Deebo Samuel. And he was like, yeah, not exactly. But if you go watch Jeremy Bernard's tape, like he plays very close to the line of scrimmage. They do a lot of like end around or like running back type of things with him. But he can also burn you across all ends of the field. So he offers a good bit of position versatility, and he is a pretty sound wide receiver. So I wouldn't cut him out, but like, yeah, that wide receiver position. It depends if they're really prioritizing offense or defense at this point. You got 1 and 1, but if you don't acquire a 3rd round pick, then day 2, you've got it'll be very telling indication of if they're focused more on defense or offense based off of what they do at the top of the 2nd round.
Hey guys, I am seeing some clips of the press conference, and both of them look like they're beaming. They look so freaking happy. So after when you guys get off later on, don't bring up the wood comment. Don't bring up the wood. When you guys get off, don't bring up the wood. Check out the videos because they're both of them.
Usually reverse order.
I wouldn't even have caught on to that, but you calling it out, man. You're digging your own.
I'm trying to head it off at the pass.
You need to stop. I would just stop entirely.
Wait a minute. You're talking about wait, Kayvon. Wait a minute. Harbaugh and Shane were asked if Giants are planning to keep Kayvon after drafting Harbaugh. We keep all the good players as much as we can, right? And Shane said, "Yup." So again, I hear you both of you, but I still have to think that's
a pretty non-committal.
I'll say this as well. The Joe Shane haters might want to buckle up because I don't really see him. If it went down this well and they were collaborative and whatnot, I don't really see how he's gonna get exiled right after the draft.
Well, he's either one of 2 things are going to happen. They're going to give him a contract extension, or they're going to get rid of him. So we'll find.
Wow, you ready? You ready for some craziness here, Eric?
What?
With the 18th pick, the Minnesota Vikings select Caleb Banks, defensive tackle.
Wow.
You know what? Minnesota, good for you. Ignore everything that could possibly be wrong with the guy, and you go get a guy who might not even be able to put a shoe on, and you put him out there because your team, you got a quarterback that you drafted that now you went and signed a guy that now your drafted quarterback's kind of like, am I even going to play? So
now what happens if there's a defensive tackle run here instead of an offensive lineman run?
Yeah. Well, the thing about Banks is weird is his if you put on his, and I read this too, but I agree with it. If you look at his best plays, you are sold on him. If you look at his worst plays, you're like, oh my God, this guy isn't even trying. So he's one of those guys that his effort is in question.
The 3 things they just said about him that was on the screen, right? Yeah. One was like massive player. The other one is a flash player. Usually a flash player means every now and then you see this thing that's just crazy good, but there's these long periods of time where you don't see anything. Yeah.
Like the beginning of Darius Slayton's career. Now you just don't see anything, but I shouldn't pick on Darius.
And he doesn't either.
Oh, well, we're a Giants broadcast or whatever. You guys, I'm getting a sense that Odell Beckham's coming here. I think that's right. Does it look like it's happening?
Yeah, I think so. Well, it'll be interesting to if they don't prioritize wide receiver even more so. So the Panthers take Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle, at number 19, and then we have a trade. The Eagles are moving up to number 20 in a trade with the division rival Dallas Cowboys.
Wow. Lineman? It's got to be an offensive lineman, right, for them?
I have no idea.
I
Who
can't
else is
believe
still available?
Proctor. I can't believe Proctor has gone before lineman.
Is it?
And,
would it be
Banks before McDonald?
Yeah.
if it's an
And
offensive
Woods.
lineman? Would it be like Ironacre or Jennings Dunker? But that would be early for
No,
him.
it would be one of the tackles, Lomu or like you
Yeah.
said.
But Lomu doesn't seem like they're. Yeah, but Lomu doesn't seem like they're.
Or whatever it is.
But Lomu
Oh,
doesn't
man.
seem like they're kind of offensive lineman. He's kind of as big as he's gonna get. Like he's not.
Right.
They have big guys, but they do have a lot of issues on their offensive line. They've got some guys that are kind of injured, and who knows how long they're gonna play for.
They don't need a corner, right? Because like Jamar McCoy. I'm trying to think of like who else is like the top end that's still sitting around, because that's normally what they go at. Oh, Mekhi Lemon, dude. They're about to trade away AJ Brown.
See, AJ Brown is supposedly
AJ
Brown is supposedly going to be traded post June 1st. So that has been talked about, and to the Patriots is what I've heard multiple times.
The Eagles receive pick 20 and a 7th rounder, while the Cowboys receive 23, 114, and 137.
How crazy is it? Didn't
race.
Dallas and the Eagles trade up with us when we got screwed out of Devontae Smith?
Yes.
So that's weird that they trade with each other like that. That's weird. I'm not upset with that. I mean, I like
Mekhi Lemon. He had the weirdest interview at the combine.
Yeah, he's very strange.
But he's a hell of a football player. I'll tell you what, when I watched them, he had some amazing. But after I saw I agree with you, John. After I saw those interviews, I'm like, that guy, there's something that screws with that guy.
I'm thinking you should have Mekhi Lemon be your receiver, and Adam Gase should be your head coach, and those two should do press conferences together. You could get that weird where he's looking all over the place, Gase, and then whatever Lemon was doing, high as a kite during his interview. But yeah, that'd be something.
Seem like he was high as a kite, didn't he?
Do they also like one of the like Messidor or Falk enough that they're moving up for an edge rusher before they start flying off the board? They moved up 3 spots, right? So
wait, you said they took Mekhi Lemon, right?
No. I was speculating.
Oh, I thought you were telling the Eagles. I thought you were saying the Eagles.
No.
Lemon. Oh,
well, actually, they just did, so it works out.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I thought we were saying it too. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, no. My bad, guys.
But the word on the street is that they are moving on from AJ Brown. It'll be post June 1st because of the cap issue. They can't trade him before then.
Yeah, right.
It's different. It's different than cutting a guy and doing it post June 1st, where they let you do that. You can't trade a guy if you're going to do it post June 1st. You have to actually wait until June to do that.
I wonder how it factors into the comp pick formula as well.
Let me see. Noah Bali breakdown.
You guys are so far ahead. I'm watching TV. I'm like, they're just barely announcing Carolina's pick now.
That's the thing. Is like, I'm not. I haven't been consistently checking it, but this guy Ari, what is it? I've seen Mirov. The handle is at my sports update. He's been dropping them all when they happen.
Oh,
so I've just been referencing his Twitter.
Nice.
Yeah, but
by the way, is Optimus here still in chat? Is Optimus here?
I haven't seen him in a little bit.
What's up, chat? Been completely ignoring the chat.
Optimus, if you're in, say I'm here. Wait a minute.
Yeah, Optimus.
Is he there?
I don't know.
No. Okay.
Give him a minute. Transform. No, never mind.
So let me pull up. I got to pull up the where we're at with the picks, because I'm still so focused on the Giants.
We're on Pittsburgh
right
now at 21. and then it goes Chargers, then Dallas again.
I have to admit that Mrs. BBI has let me down. She told me she would be bringing down the refreshments on a regular basis, and I'm not getting.
Oh, yeah, you gotta fend for yourself, dude.
Yeah, I gotta fend.
Just get up. There's no way. Like, you're gonna have to take a leak or something. Like, that's why I was sitting here just like playing with the cigar while it wasn't lit. And then I got to a point of like, all right, I'm going to have to get up to relight this thing at some point, get a new lighter.
Oh, I'm doing what they did in Dumb and Dumber. I've got bottles here when I have to.
Nice.
like a fucking Artemis astronaut.
Just go, man. Just go. Oh, that's warm.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That scene still bothers the shit out of me. My NFL.com tracker. Here we go. Right, now I can keep up with you guys on this. I'm still just process Arvell Reese and Mauanoa. That's pretty cool. It's not a combination. It's not a combination I came up with too on any. The John and I did have a trade down where we got Mauanoa before the Dexter trade. So I think that
there's been pretty close. Like, if we would have suspected Maui Noah fall to 10 more, everybody was doing Iwani.
Yeah.
So it's not to say that we weren't thinking offensive linemen at 10. Just nobody expected Maui Noah. Now, what would have been interesting is if Maui Noah went, which somebody would have dropped to them, like, do they like Vega more than Downs?
Yeah, but look at the offensive lineman there is a run. So it was Fano, Mauanoa, Proctor, Iwane, Miller, Freeling. Yep. I mean, the linemen are going. It's going to be like 7 or 8, like people have said.
Well, and it's still early.
I know.
We thought this was happening in the 20s. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. They're all gone.
So, in a way, if you're a Giants fan out there and you wanted an offensive lineman, you should be a little bit more at ease tonight.
Yeah, thank God we got one.
Because I don't know if there's going to be anyone there at 37.
Because who's Lomu, Ionakor?
You know, Besantis may go in the first round.
Well, I'm talking about like maybe
tackles.
I know
tackles, but I'm saying the guards may start getting pushed.
Yeah,
up.
Pregnon. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Pregnon could go in the first round now if they go.
Yeah, I could 100% see.
But now remember, we want the linemen to go now. So if you want a defensive tackle, you want linemen to go like crazy right now.
Well, same with the wide receivers, which Lemon just went to Philly, so that's continuing that.
Unless you really want Boston.
Unless you want Boston to fall.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's just not realistic, though.
You never. I mean, crazier shit has happened. You know. Like,
yeah.
Especially if someone thinks he's just too big. You know, if they just think he's just too thick, too whatever, and they don't see him that way. But
oh my God, Mauanoa's jersey looks tiny on him. But the guy's that guy's got to be bigger than his listed weight. He just looks gigantic. And Dave, did you say he's 20?
Well, it was in one of the
I remember talking about some players being 20 at some point. I don't remember.
It was listed in one of the X posts that he's 20, and so is Arvell Reese.
Yeah, I knew Reese was young, but I didn't know Mauanoa was that young.
Yeah. Yeah, in the BBI mock draft I got for the Bucks in the first round, I took Sadiq at 15, and then I got Keldrick Falk in the second round somehow, and they were both 20. And I was very happy with having players that young because that's one of the issues with Pregnon. You know, plenty of people 24. You know,
I'm really curious to see where he goes in this draft. Falk. I'm curious to see. Some people still think he's going to go relatively high.
Yeah, most people this week have put him like back in the first round. So I wouldn't be surprised.
So do you guys find yourself rooting for somebody at 37? I find myself rooting for McDonald. I think I've already said that, but is that you guys have somebody else in mind? And Boston, it sounds like, John, that would be your dream scenario? Or
well, if he, I was never expecting that he would actually be there. But
I think McDonald.
So if he did, sure, but I'm with you with McDonald. The other one though, the guy that I really would have liked at that point, but it's not going to matter, would have been Hill later. but we already had the linebacker, so we don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking corner. If Johnson were to slide, then if he makes it to the top of second, then maybe if we want to go corner.
John, you just brought up a really interesting point. If you've got Arvell Reese and he's technically your inside linebacker next to Edmonds, at least this year, do you pass on Hill if he's there at 37? And depends on who else is there, I suspect too. But
yeah, I mean, if you would assume there's a large pool of players that are very close. Thus need then makes that part that much more. It's a little different than the first round where you don't take a guy just from need over a more talented player. But when the talent's almost equal, then need is always going to win out.
Yeah. I would not be
the guy
against.
I'm pulling.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was because the guy I'm pulling for at 37 right now is Colton Hood.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What do you think of Terrell from Clemson?
I'd be fine with either of them. There's just such a drop off after like those guys. I'm not real big on like Cisse, Johnson, like anyone after Hood and Terrell. So if I could get either of those guys at 37, I think that'd be a pretty solid win because defensive tackle you could get on day 3 and still get a contributor like a rotational guy or whatever. I just feel like we need somebody who has a higher likelihood of starting sooner at corner in case things go wrong.
Right. Plus, you gotta assume that a Debo may not be here long term based on the amount of money.
Can't stay healthy either.
Yeah, that's the other.
I'm sorry. Who was that? Who are you talking about, John?
I was talking about Paulson Adebo. He might not be here long term either. So you really do. You really need 2 corners over this, one starter for sure, and then a guy who probably could be a starter.
Yeah, but if you wait till the 4th round on corner, then you're looking at like the Washington kids, Feasy and Prysock, and like Tacario Davis. You're looking at like Devin Moore. You're looking at
Will Lee, maybe. Will Lee.
Yeah, Will Lee. Yep. There's a whole pocket down there, but I'm just not thrilled about them. And then at that point, if you don't take one there, then you're really just getting like a Corey Black style guy, and it's like you're hoping for the best. I think corner would.
I know a lot of people don't like. I mean, I shouldn't say like. A lot of people do like him. Some people don't like him his size, but I still say don't sleep on the Indiana corner who's shorter.
D'Angelo Pons.
Yeah, he's
guy's just so player. Small. Eric.
I know, but he's a player.
So small.
But he's a player, and he's got.
Who I'll add into the mix is Keontae Scott.
Mm-hmm.
That's one that I'm forgetting about. That like I still wouldn't be mad at him at 37 either, but. If I had to take somebody out, but D'Angelo Pons, man, like I like his demeanor.
Optimus is back.
Oh yeah. Optimus. So the only thing I want to tell you, Optimus, is my wife said the other day. She goes,
"You son of a bitch!" No,
she goes, Optimus is always in chat. Who is that guy, Optimus? He's always in chat.
Yep. My wife has also started to recognize some repeat names like Optimus in the chat because. The last few Saturdays when you guys have done Inside BBI Live, I've been like, hey, it's like a couple weeks before the draft. I'm putting this on the big TV Saturday morning. And she's hung out and watched it with me. So,
nice.
Yeah, she's caught up with some of the BBI locals, the Mongos, as Optimus would say.
There goes Ian Aker went to the Steelers.
Yeah, there's that offensive line run. It's just
that makes so much sense. Dude, I'm pretty sure that's what I had in my first round mock I did.
The Steelers wanted he wanted to fall though. He's such a Steeler too. And they gotta be pissed the Ravens took him.
So people that are still sitting around, Denzel Boston, Jermod McCoy, Dylan Thieneman, Keldrick Falk, Akeem Mesidor, Caleb Lemieux, Caden McDonald, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, Casey Concepcion, Peter Woods.
If McCoy's there, you take that risk, right? The second round?
Ooh.
That really depends on the medicals with that dude.
I think you have to.
Big deal, the knee was a big deal.
It is, but if you got him in the second round, that is enough of a drop. I mean, without the injury stuff, he's had some bad injuries, but it's not the soft tissue stuff like Tyson. So if they checked him out and it's worth it in the second, the skill set, I mean, he's an easy starter if he's healthy. I don't think anybody would argue that. But and I'm normally not an injury like is acceptable kind of guy with prospects, but second round for
I think
McCoy,
you got to consider it at that point.
yeah, I would definitely.
Because remember, he's a full year from the ACL too, but you'd have to. It would depend on your doctors, though.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if he gets to us there, anyways. But I'm just.
Would you take him if he had to like sit out another year or some shit?
Well, if
to
you had
like
to sit
have
out
an
another year, that
additional.
would be 2
No.
years. No,
Yeah, no.
2 years. No, I wouldn't do 2 years. That's too long away from the game to me.
Well, and definitely in the second. I mean, if you're talking about a 4th round pick, then sure, I take that chance and I hope that he's going to be fine after, whatever they got to do. But at the second round, I can't have that guy sitting from there. But so the Chargers, supposedly their pick is in, and I haven't seen who it is.
By the way, Mal Noah was talking to the press while you guys were talking. The guy's a cool dude. He's so psyched to play. He's so psyched to play with Cam. He's like, oh, I'm going to have a lot of fun with that guy. I think we're going to have a fun offense with these guys. Some of these guys.
When's the last time we had a Samoan offensive lineman? Because they are in general pretty fun.
Yeah.
Have we ever?
They did have.
That's what I'm saying. Is Falele Samoan?
I don't know.
Mal
Noah did have a 30 visit. Said it went great.
What's the deal with is it Lomu? Lomu, how do you say his name?
Caleb Lomu. Yeah.
Is it that he just doesn't project well to play tackle? He's not overly large to be a guard either. Is he gonna end up shifting to center?
I think he's still a tackle. I would expect him to go soon. And I hope he
again.
goes
It's crazy that Fano went 9.
Yeah, that was pretty high.
I mean, similar, but the versatility piece with him, I suppose. But Lomu, he's got to go in the next couple of picks because he is the end of the offensive. I mean, what other offensive linemen are available after Lomu? Besides the guards.
And I apologize if you answered my question earlier. Have we ever had a Samoan giant? I don't remember a Samoan giant.
Kavika Mitchell. If we're talking like
no, but didn't we have
was he Samoan? I don't know.
Didn't we have a defensive lineman?
Danny Shelton. Shelton.
Yeah, I was thinking of somebody else though.
That's
he had
right.
He had a long ass.
I mean, wasn't Falele Australia?
So Mesidor.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was just speculating.
Mesidor went to the Chargers.
Okay.
Yep.
See, all these positions that we don't need anymore, it's great. So we want to rush on edge too. We want edge, tackles, guards.
Wow, what does Dallas do here? McCoy. Then they would get Downs and McCoy.
Let me see where are we at. We're at so they've caught up. We're not getting.
It wasn't really getting released as fast last time I checked the Twitter.
We're not getting the tweet.
No, yeah, it seems pretty caught up.
It seems like.
But yeah, Dallas, man. Yikes. Keldrick Falk wouldn't want to see that.
There's some boom and bust to him though.
Yeah.
There is, but the thing with him, as far as I was concerned, is he got moved inside this year. He excelled 2 years ago outside, then they moved him inside. I don't fully understand the circumstances as to why that all went down like that. I'm sure Cy would have an opinion on it, but if you move him back outside, I mean, he is the prototype build, dude. I mean, he is the exact size you want. And he's young. He's another one, 20 years old, man. You mean to tell me that like 2 years of him being in a rotation in the NFL with a like size advantage like that and proven production, it's not like he hasn't produced and it was in the SEC. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why everybody's so down on Falk.
You know what's weird?
You know
what's weird is there are 2 pinned threads on BBI on the draft selections, and Francis Mauigoa has over 8,000 views and 148 comments, and Arvell Reese only has just under 4,000 views and 50 comments. I don't think I've ever seen so few comments on a player as first.
Yep.
No one seems. I don't know if they're happy or not happy.
Well, that's it. Everybody's confused about it, man. That's the thing. That's how I didn't know how to react before, because I'm like, sure, that makes sense, but there wasn't really lengthy discussions about it, so I don't think people know how to react to it.
I agree. I think that's probably what's going on. It's just weird. I don't think I've ever, in all the years I've run the site, I don't think I've ever seen a first round pin thread have so few comments on it. Hours,
particularly the earlier pick.
Yes. So I'm curious to see what everyone's like. Everyone else, I'm dying to see what the reaction is. But I'll
and
do that
how
later.
Crazy would it be if that thread was not Arvell Reese and it was Caleb Downs? It'd be blowing the doors off the Mauigoa thread.
That's correct. I believe that too.
Yeah.
People are pissed that I posted it, though. I see that early, but I didn't know they were 3 picks ahead.
I mean, whatever. It happens.
It's hard, guys.
It's a common draft thing.
Yeah.
Again, I go back to don't go on your phone. Don't go on a website. Like, of course it's going to get leaked. How many years are we going to do this in a row where people get bent out of shape because they're on their phones and then they see what the picks are? Sit there and watch the draft in real time. Don't look at your phone. If you come online and you get upset, like, give it a rest, dude.
Man, that Rich in Houston's one weird dude. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He said he's talking about Mauigoa. Looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. Okay.
He doesn't look like Tarzan at all, to be quite honest.
No.
That's Alonzo Spellman is the classic. Looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. Hey, looks like we got our other buddy here. Let's bring him on. We got Cy with us. There's the man. All right,
Chief?
What's up, fellas? How are you?
So we were just saying right now it's very strange on BBI because there's a ton of comments and views on the Mauigoa selection. There's very few comments on the Arvell Reese selection, and Dave Del Cole and I think it's because people can't process the Arvell Reese pick. Our discussion before you came on has been with both players, and it's probably more coincidence, but because they can project to two positions, both of them, it gives the Giants, not only did they get 2 players that they've said are their top 5, but it gives them great flexibility if somebody gets hurt. So for instance, if Andrew Thomas gets hurt and you have to move Illuminor to left tackle, you can slide Mauigoa to right tackle, and you don't have that collapse that we've had. And then with same thing with Reese is you can move him outside. God forbid Brian Burns or Abdul Carter tear an ACL, and Brian Burns can also play inside too. So anyways, everyone wants to hear your thoughts on this. I did read your tweets, but we'd love to hear your comments on it.
Yeah, no, I think Reese and Mauigoa were the 2 guys that I was asked the most about. Hey, what position? I would give a grade, right? I was asked why was he not in the offensive tackle stack. I was asked about Reese not being in the edge stack, and I think I let them both know. Lawrence from UCF,
Malachi Lawrence to the Cowboys.
Oh, he was a riser, really a 1-year guy,
edge.
a really 1-year contributor, but. He's someone a lot of people were talking about over the past few weeks.
Hey, John, he was on we did our linebacker.
Yeah.
I put Malachi, but I didn't think it'd go this high. Anyway, sorry, Cy.
Yeah, no, I mean, so yeah, it was a long-winded way of saying, like, you really could have graded these guys at 2 different spots, and I did. I did 2 different completely evaluations with both these guys. And Reese I liked him at linebacker more than I liked him at edge. At edge, you didn't really know what you're going to do. And I was thinking with the Jets, you were either going to take David Bailey or you were going to take Arvell Reese, who you think turns into David Bailey at some point. And Arvell Reese, you can see it on his tape. I think he said this himself. He doesn't really know what he's doing as a pass rusher. That wasn't really his primary role there. That's what got people excited. But I think he really was a better linebacker The question is he going to stay at 240? I mean, he could be 250 next week because he's so young. I mean, he's one of the youngest players in the draft. So him and Abdul Carter, I put their measurements side to side. They're almost identical coming out of college. And Abdul Carter is more edge than linebacker, right? So, I mean, I love the options that it's going to give. I think Harbaugh called it a positionless defense, and that's exactly what Reese plays into. On the offensive line, I think it's now we know we've been saying this since the beginning. He needs to start off at guard in the NFL, prove he can handle the speed, and in 2-3 years, if that spot becomes available at right tackle, you want to move him out there, you can. But look, Tyler Smith, Cowboys, he's better off at guard. He doesn't have to be a tackle to justify this pick. If the guy is a quality guard, don't move him in a couple years.
Now, do you see when I saw a number of Ohio State games, including the playoff games, and the few games that I did see of him, Arvell to me looked like an edge setter to me. Like he has that length, and tell me if I'm wrong. Again, you do this for a living. I don't. Does he look like the
absolutely is an edge setter?
So he is, but the way I look at him, he may be the best edge setter between Abdul Carter and Brian Burns. Like in terms of his physical ability, he may be the guy ultimately that. I know they came out tonight and they said Arvell Reese is our inside linebacker, and I expect them to keep it simple for him early. But I could also see a world where Arvell Reese, in certain situations, plays outside and Abdul comes inside, depending on what they want to do. Is that how you see it too?
Yeah. As a player, Arvell Reese is much more physical. He knows how to use his length a little bit more than Abdul Carter. We talked about this with Abdul last year. He did not do a great job in run defense last year.
Right.
When it comes to being assignment savvy, there's a lot of responsibility to being an outside linebacker, edge defender in any defense. And it always gets overlooked in the draft process. But Reese is better than him right now at that. I also think he's a little bit more physical than Abdul Carter.
Right.
Like the way he takes on blocks, the way he destroys trap blocks. I think just the way he plays, he just wants it more from a physical perspective, where Abdul Carter is more about quickness, make you miss. It's like in basketball, like, Allen Iverson like to, shoot guys with his crossover and get the highlight reel and have guys grasping for air, where I think Arvell Reese just wants to beat you up. And then he can run around you if he needs to, but he wants to beat you up first. He's a little more physical, and I do think as an edge setter, he's probably better in that role, but I also think he's better off the ball than Abdul Carter. I think he's got a lot more potential in coverage. His coverage snaps, I think I put this in the report, it's good. Like, he can move in coverage. He's got range. He knows how to use his length. He's got a good feel. He's a quarterback spy, between him and Abdul Carter. Again, I think you brought it up earlier. The hedge of injury potential is almost erased now, especially if they keep Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, Dexter Lawrence, who? I mean, do you even need him on this defensive front for the pass rush? I mean, to me, you have four guys that are really dynamic and explosive off the edge.
Right. Do you also, I don't know, because people may not have seen your report yet, and I did post it on the front page, your write-up on both players. Can you give people in chat and who are watching a sort of sense of Arvell just in general as a player, in terms of pass coverage, in terms of, what is the reason why, for those who don't follow this stuff, I want the audience to know, what is the reason why Arvell Reese was widely considered by many to go be worthy of the second overall player taken in this draft at one point?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought he'd make it to 5. That doesn't mean I wanted him over Sonny Styles, but that's okay. We don't need to go there yet. But I think one of the reasons why Arvell Reese was so well liked is that he didn't play a ton of football in college, and he was doing things that a lot of guys just cannot do physically from all angles. And this is a projection business, right? We're not taking guys as they are right now as finished products. You're saying, hey, if I can coach these guys up, if they develop physically more, the sky's the limit with Arvell Reese. And I think that's the draw to him, is that he's just earlier on the curve. I mean, Sonny Styles, I love him. Trust me. He's been trained to play in the NFL since he was 4 years old by his dad, running with parachutes in the backyard. Reese, he barely even made it to college. I think he had a 1.7 GPA early days in high school. I mean, he didn't know that really wasn't in his scope for a long time. So you just say, hey, he's earlier on the curve. There's more upside with Arvell Reese. And There are traits in his game that are better than Sonny Styles. You probably can do a little bit more with him as a pass rusher, especially.
Casey Concepcion goes to the Cleveland
Browns. Yep.
Well, I have to say, Dave, that both Dave Syvertson and Dave Del Cole and John seem to have been somewhat justified or validated, but we'll see ultimately that the New York Giants had 2 shots at Caleb Downs, and doesn't mean they didn't like him, but they chose to go another direction. You took a lot of grief, both of you, I think, on your Caleb Downs comments. Not that, again, you didn't like the player. It's just you didn't see it. And so that had to be not validate. I guess validating is the right word, is that the NFL seems to have supported both what you guys were saying at one point too. But it's going to be interesting that Giants fans are going to watch Caleb in Dallas. They're going to watch Sonny Styles in Washington. And I think that's going to be interesting comparison with fans moving forward.
Yep. 2 other guys that signed out were high on Delane and Tate went a lot earlier than everybody was expecting as well.
Cy, what surprised you the most so far, non-Giant stuff? I mean,
yeah, good one.
Was it Cardinals? I mean, it was rumored that Cardinals might take Love, and they went ahead and did it. Was that it? Or
I was surprised by that for a few reasons. They have 3 backs there. Then they signed one of them, and they ran into injury problems last year. He's now, I think, going to be the highest paid running back in the NFL. So if you get into the economics of it, just surprised me in that regard. Carnell Tate going 4 overall, I had him graded there. I thought, just based on what I was reading, I thought I was the only one that had him that high. I thought it was a great fit for Tennessee, great fit for Brian Daboll. He was smiling ear to ear. I mean, you got to support the young quarterback in year 2, and they did that between Wan'Dale Robinson, offensive lineman, Carnell Tate now, Calvin Ridley's, and I mean that's a really solid 1-2-3 punch wide receiver room for Cam Ward. So that surprised me, not because I didn't think the player deserved it. I just didn't see that coming. Ruben Bain falling to 15 was a big surprise for me. I understand why, the arm length, and but I think that's gonna haunt a lot of teams. I mean, Tampa Bay, they know how to draft, and I think Ruben Bain's going to be a guy that he's going to be beyond the norm in that. I think his lack of arm length will be a non-issue at the next level.
What about Proctor being the 3rd offensive lineman off the board?
Not a surprise, just because, I mean, I don't have him graded there, but he, in a traits-based league, he is the biggest, most physical, most powerful dude in the draft class, all linemen. And I would even say it's probably a pretty wide margin. He doesn't have the balance issues. I don't think he's the most comfortable mover in the world, but he doesn't have the Evan Neal type balance issues. His bad tape was not as bad as Evan Neal's. He was just a little inconsistent. I do think there's some work ethic, motivation issues with him, so that can be erased with good interviews and good interactions with teams, or it can be it can get its guy crossed off if you blow it in those interviews. So he impressed them enough to be a guy that I just don't know if they're going to put him at tackle or guard right away. That's my question. They do have Austin Jackson, right tackle, who's got 1 more year under his contract. And I would love to see him at guard. You just don't see many guys 6'7" playing guard in the NFL.
How do you feel about Fano going ahead of Maui Noah?
No.
Yeah, Fano has been, what did Cleveland need on that offensive line? They had 1 piece left to add, and it was a left tackle. You're not putting Maui Noah at left tackle. So that's where that's where he started his career at left tackle until Lemieux kicked him out and he bumped him over to the right side. But athletically, he can handle it. I'd be a little nervous if I'm going to be putting my eggs in that basket personally. You have all these tackles at your disposal. I thought Fano was not the guy to take. Not surprised, though, because 2 guys that I talked to, offensive line coaches or previous coaches, they both had him as their top tackle in the draft. So, again, not a surprise, just not where I had him graded.
Well, we're seeing the predicted run on linemen, and I know that you seem to be leaning towards hoping that the Giants would do something to support Dart, and one of the picks would be a lineman. And it looks like that had the Giants not drafted at least one of the linemen, be it Mauanoa or the Penn State guard, the Giants would be sort of crossing their fingers right now because the linemen are going. So now we're actually in a position right now. We want the offensive linemen to go off the board now.
Yeah.
We want to run on edge to continue. We want maybe even a wide receiver run if you want a defensive tackle. But if you want a wide receiver, you want the wide receivers to be there. But it sounds before you came on, we were thinking somehow by some miracle, Caden McDonald gets there, or maybe one of the corners would be there at number 2 at 37. Are there players that you're looking at right now that are sliding that you're saying I'd like to see the Giants get a shot at that guy? Now I saw your mock. We saw who you mocked to the Giants, but are there guys that are out there still that now are sliding that you might say, at corner, at defensive tackle, wide receiver? You had Bernard. Is that what was your pick?
Bernard?
Yeah,
he'll probably make it there. Here's a question, you guys. A lot of people want Caleb Downs, right?
Yeah.
Dylan Fetterman's still there. If that kid falls down to that area,
absolutely.
I don't know if that's Caleb Downs, the player, the person, the Ohio State defender, the kid you've been watching for 3 years, or did you actually want a versatile safety? Because if you want the versatile safety, he's almost as good as Caleb Downs. He's not quite there, but he's very close if you kind of compare all of their traits together. And if he makes it down to that spot, I don't think he will, but if he does, that's a really good backup plan for those.
That's a good point.
And he has a little bit more size on him too, correct?
A little
he just
bit, yeah.
He just got picked.
Wingspan, arm length.
They're both. Never mind.
He just got picked by the Bears.
So there you go.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
I mean, that's off the NFL.
Well, how do you feel? How do you feel about McNeil Warren then?
I think I'm lower on him than everyone. I have a 3rd round grade on him.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I just don't think he's a guy that you want. There's a lot I like about his game. We'll see. We'll see if I'm right or wrong about that one. But another name. I mean, is it worth taking a risk on Jermod McCoy? Do you want to be the team to take a risk on Jermod McCoy?
We talked about him right before you came on.
Yeah.
Before you came on, I said to everyone, what if McCoy's there at 37? Then we had a whole discussion on it. Just literally like about 5 minutes before you jumped on, we were talking about McCoy. So,
yeah.
Well, and it also fed another question of like, who are you hoping makes it to 37 at this point?
I mean, based on what they did last week with Dexter Lawrence, Kate McDonald would probably be a godsend at this point. I mean, if he made it there, I'd be shocked. I really would be. I think there's a lot of teams that want that run defender. But again, I've been saying this about Kate McDonald. He's one-dimensional. He's not a pass rusher. He had one quick pressure over the last 2 years.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, me too. Basically, with what the Giants have right now, I am too. I think Harbaugh is too. They've always had a McDonald type guy, no tackle on that team. Always. They just usually find him day 3. They don't find him at the top 2nd round. I remember telling you this. I think we talked about this one time I was on with you guys. That's a really popular spot to trade down from.
Yes.
If the Giants want to pick up a 3rd round pick or an extra 4th based on how far down they go, that could be where they get it. You might not get the guy right away at 37 overall. What if you bump down 10, 15 spots and you pick up a 3rd or early 4th? That's what Harbaugh loves picking in that area.
I just don't I just don't have a feel for where guys like Lee Hunter and Dominique Orange will go. Like when you did your mock today and you had the Giants picking up a 3rd and getting Orange in the 3rd round, that to me was perfect. That was like a perfect scenario for them. I just don't know where he goes, and I don't know where like Lee Hunter goes.
Yeah.
I don't have it. See, my thing with the Giants right now is we have the pass rush. We've got Reese, Abdul Carter, Burns, Thibodeau. We need somebody. We need the big bodies right now. Yep. So if they can get some push from the defensive tackle, that's fine. But we need some big bodies up front on 1st and 2nd down.
And I wouldn't be surprised. He's not a nose, or he won't play nose. As far as at least I don't think he will. But I would not be surprised with Jackson from Florida State. He's huge. He's tall. The Ravens always had one. They had big, bulky defensive, but they always had one bigger guy. And for the longest time, it was Campbell. But I don't be surprised. That dude, for some reason, he's kind of screaming possible Giants pick. It may be earlier than you would think.
I would not be against him at 37.
Oh, that high!
What,
Wow.
what does this team think about Darius Alexander? That's what I'm curious. Like, do they think he could play that 3-tech, 5-tech hybrid role?
Yeah.
Keldrick Falk, that's another name that I think is a very good fit for what Harbaugh has used along the defensive line. Keldrick Falk, a guy I don't love. But.
So there was a trade. The Dolphins and the 49ers have traded. I'm surprised the Dolphins are trying to give up stuff to move up, considering all they need to fill and their cap issue. But
I wonder if they're getting future picks because they had a lot of picks in this draft. I don't know why they trade down so much.
Dave Del Cole would be very happy with your Keldrick Falk selection. We were talking about him before you came on too.
Another young kid. I think he's another 20-year-old.
I think he's gotten so bashed in this cycle for no good reason other than puppeted narratives that drove his stock down.
Yeah, I just think people overrated him early in the year, saying he was a top 5 pick and just never was that. But then it probably went overboard.
Right.
I mean, I'm day 2 on him, but he just didn't have enough sack production. I thought he disappeared. He plays a little high. He doesn't have a lot of twitch, but he's young and he's powerful. He's versatile.
Didn't he get moved from the outside inside this past year and then his production went down? Because he was productive in 24 when he was on the outside, right?
He played outside more. I wouldn't say he got moved inside, but he definitely played inside more often. Yeah.
Side, did you I don't know if you keep track of this. So when I'm doing the simulations and I'm trying to do the research on the players, I always check our lads. I check you. I check the Beast. I check Lance Zerline.
Sorry, real quick. The Texans just took
Keelan
Rutledge, the guard.
Wow, he went high.
So another offensive lineman. So there we go.
I love that. I love watching him play. Man. He's a fun dude to watch.
Sorry, Eric.
That was one of that was one of the guards that when I was doing mocks that Rutledge. Sometimes I took at at 37, but there's again one of those guys that might not have. So if we hadn't taken the linemen, they might not have been there. So did you take more chances this year with going against the grain with people? It seems like there were a lot of players that you had higher or lower than maybe it was no different to you, but it seemed like you were going out on a limb more, for lack of a better description, to say, you know what, I don't see it the way the other people. Did you feel like you were doing that more or the same?
I wouldn't say I was trying to do that more, but I definitely have noticed it a little bit more. And I think in the past I used to be like, oh wait, am I wrong? And now I kind of have settled on I'd rather be wrong than write about someone else's opinion. So I think a lot of the business does it, and I think we see this in the NFL. Like how many people had Keelan Rutledge as a 26 overall pick that, in the NFL draft? Not many people. And I think that's the way it works. It's just, do your process, you get your number, your grade, and you put it out there. You don't want to be swayed too much by others. So I think the more I do this, the more willing I am to just say, screw it. This is what I think, and I'm going forward with it.
You kind of did that with our lads internally this year, though, too, didn't you? A little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grades are always different. Like I'm in charge of a few positions for our lads, and then we, as a team, as a staff. But I don't get much say on the defensive guys over there. But we meet and we talk, we challenge each other all the time, which is fun. But the our lad staff, we do have. I think Ruben Bain was our number 2 player on the board.
Yeah,
and we were just talking about that in a group chat.
Now, like for instance, why I brought that up is I was doing my last mocks today because again I can't stand it when the draft starts so late. So I was trying to kill time, and I love the draft, but I can't wait all day. So I was like, I'll give you an example. Like the Ole Miss wide receiver, you seem to be lower on him than like a lot of your counterparts. Yeah. And I thought, but I saw more of that. That was just one example because I had just done it. And I was like, wow, size got him way down here.
Caleb Lemieux. He's my number 1 tackle. Caleb Lemieux hasn't been drafted yet.
Is he still? Yeah,
he's
still out there.
I see. We want him to go off the board here too.
Yeah.
Though, but you wouldn't take double dip at the offensive line here, right? If Lomu was there, no, probably not because this team's needs.
For the Giants?
Yeah.
No.
Where would you play him?
Yeah.
I don't know where you put him unless you just were insecure about Andrew Thomas's injuries, but
yeah.
Come on, Boston! Slide to the second round.
John's been pulling for it, man.
Yeah, you want Boston, John?
Yeah, I want that big
fun.
wide
That'd be a
receiver.
fun pick.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, somebody a little
That'd be a lot of
different.
fun.
Brings a whole different thing to the receiving group.
It was interesting too, Cy, before you came on, we were talking about kind of the post that you had made earlier that I've been sort of trying to amplify today, that it was very unlikely the Giants could screw this up because they were going to get two good players regardless of what happened in the first 10 picks. And it kind of looks like it went down. And one of the things that John and I were talking about even before Dave came on was there were so many different ways the Giants could have approached this. They could have done the route where they're trying to support Jackson and gone completely offense. They could have gone completely defense if they wanted to, or they could have split it like they did today. But it's just interesting that, at least from my point of view, and I think from I don't want to put words in your mouth, that the Giants got better today, and we should all be happy that they got better today. So if fans didn't get their favorite, you should be pretty happy that the New York Football Giants got better today.
Yeah, at no point are you looking at either one of these picks and saying, "Oh, didn't get the value," or like we don't need one of those guys. Like you need both these guys, and there's going to be a usage for them. And I think it's part of the whole Harbaugh regime. Like I'll be honest with you, if Brian Dable was still here for somehow, and they made these picks with Joe Shane and those two calling the shots, I bet more people would be pessimistic about this potentially working out. But because Harbaugh is very much a part of this process, you just trust it more, and you think, all right, they will make it work with Arvell Reese. If Shane Bowen was calling the defense right now, my first question would be, man, how's he going to make this work? Because I said that last year. I was like, how is he going to make it work with Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Brian Burns? Because I don't think he has that creativity switch to him. But I do trust this coaching staff to make that part of it work. And, hey, I'm always in on building the offensive line. I was in Arizona in December. And I remember I was hiking, and I'm a loser for saying this, but it's how I am. I was like, what I was thinking about on an early morning hike was the Giants have to find a way to support Jackson Dart. This is before Harbaugh came in. I was just like, that is what this offseason had to be about.
Sorry, there goes Chris Johnson, the cornerback. He went to Miami.
Okay. See, now you're starting to see a lot of these day two
Hood.
grades go.
Yeah.
Day two grades go at the end of the draft, first round now.
I like how you threw out there the word loser and early morning hike. Yeah, most people aren't doing an early morning hike, dude.
What I'm thinking about during my hike.
I know, I got you. But
guards.
The rest of us aren't doing early morning hikes. I'm like, I'm making coffee in the morning going, I know I got to work out later today.
The argument for supporting Jackson is the worst case scenario for the New York Giants is Jackson fails. You've got to make sure he doesn't fail because that's everything.
Especially early on.
Yeah.
My philosophy on quarterbacks is you need to do everything in your power every offseason to make it better for him during his rookie contract. And once you start paying him, if he earns that, now it's his job to make up for the holes on the rest of the offense. Like he needs. That's what a great quarterback does. He makes other players better.
Yeah.
And that's the path that this team needs to take and next year too, get another receiver. Maybe get another tight end if Theo Johnson doesn't work out this year. Get another running back. Like continue to feed support for him, and then he'll have to pay you back once you give him that contract.
And of course, as Dave Del Cole was pointing out earlier, we can celebrate the picks, but like the 2022 draft, they have to come out and
be careful.
They have to deliver. We're going to.
The Patriots the Patriots just moved up. They made a trade. They're at 28 now.
Here comes Denzel Boston, John.
Oh, please don't. No, they're getting AJ Brown.
They're getting AJ Brown.
Yeah, you don't want
losing.
You don't
They're
want
losing Keyshawn Booty next year.
The question is Vrabel still at home right now?
Knocking on wood.
Yeah, knocking on wood. If the Giants draft Peter Woods, you guys are not going to let this go, are you?
I think.
I mean, you got to get the jersey.
Yeah, there is. There is. It's just, and all it has to say is, "I got wood."
Now that would be an interesting pick too. Not that he's not a nose tackle, but Peter Woods would be an interesting pick too if he was there at 37, which he may be. Some people love him still.
Lomu to the Patriots would make sense here, but I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Christ, Briscoe had the Giants taking Woods at 10 in his last mock, I think.
There goes
Oh,
Lomu. Lomu went to
Yeah.
the Patriots.
This is good for the Giants.
All right, know what this is telling me?
Hmm.
Campbell's going to be a guard in 2 years.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Good point.
Who are their tackles besides Campbell?
Morgan Moses. Morgan
Morgan
Moses.
Mm.
Wow, he's still around. Yeah.
Morgan Moses is still playing? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think he actually has at least one more year. Might be 2 more years. 2 years on his contract.
And Dave mentioned it earlier too, Cy, but and I think you heard it, but you guys were right on Mansour too. Mansour going, the Chiefs, who know defensive backs, felt so positive and confident about him trading up to get Mansour.
Yeah. He's a good player. He's just clean, dependable. You've seen so many corners come out like this, like they're not the superstar name, but they're so clean, they're so athletic, and 3-4 years down the road, they're a true number 1 corner.
So not Deontay Banks.
Not yet. Not yet.
Are you
Not
surprised?
DeAndre Baker.
Are you?
Yeah, right.
Are you surprised Blake Miller went in the teens? I thought he'd go in the 20s.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Lemieux would be in the teens and Miller would be in the 20s. You know, that those guys flip flop. Miller's got. I mean, the guy started 50+ games. He's a right tackle. Detroit needed a right tackle.
Yeah.
Lemieux, his issue is they might not be ready year 1. Not the strongest, not the most powerful guy. I think Detroit they had to get a starting right tackle in this draft. They had to.
So much they know about building an offensive line too. They just have.
They do.
Yeah.
And developing them.
So how many linemen are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
I took the
8,
over on 7.5.
9. We're at 9 linemen in the first round. 9.
I think the record is 9, by the way. I think the record is 9.
There's 4 more picks.
And it was 2024. Is there one more offensive lineman that would go? Basantis, maybe. Pregnon, maybe.
I think we're in a new norm where linemen are going to go like in the first round because there's so few of them.
I agree. 9 of them got drafted in the first round in 24.
I mean, double checking. I counted that right, but I think it's 9. 1, 2. Yeah, 9. Wow, 9 line, and then we still have 4 picks. Wow. Okay.
Speaking of 9, we're 9 picks away from the next Giants selection.
So we're going to get to the end of the first round. The Giants pick 5th. There'll be 4 players picked in front of them. Teams will be calling to those teams at probably 1 through 5 to try to trade up. So the question is, who goes before the Giants pick, and do the Giants listen to trade offers? So,
or do the Giants feel so strongly about one of those players that is left that might go ahead of them that they trade up for him?
But what would you give up? Because they don't have.
I don't know, but it's still plausible. I mean, if you feel strongly enough about McDonald or Colton Hood or Avion Terrell or whoever.
Wait, did someone said Chiefs went defensive tackle? Did they?
I don't know. They haven't said. They haven't said over here, so it's got to be from Twitter or something that they saw that, or X. I didn't see it yet.
I don't see it either yet. I can't believe there's. I know people were putting 7 or 8 offensive line, but we're at 9. Wow, Rutledge going, it was a surprise. I mean, I like Cy. I think he's a good player. I just didn't think he'd go in the first round.
So if whoever posted that, I'm fine with you kind of stealing the thunder. Who did they take for the defensive tackle?
It's got to be
Peter Woods.
Is it Woods? Woods, all right.
Yep.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. That's going to be.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so if that works out for them, the Chiefs are having a heck of a draft. I mean, I know that's a big if, but if Woods is the player he was a couple of years ago, and with Delane, they're having a heck of a defensive draft.
I mean, I trust Spagnuolo to get what you can get out of Peter Woods.
Yes.
So Cy, I have a question. You brought it up earlier, so I'm going to ask you. If you're the Giants and you're sitting at 37 and McCoy drops to 37, are you concerned enough with that knee that you pass on him as the Giants, or would you take him?
I mean, really, I hate saying this, but it really does depend on what does the medical say. You know, like if it's really if he needs another procedure, absolutely not. This kid got hurt a long time ago. This is like 15 months now. ACLs at that size, you're looking at 7 to 8 months. So, and if he needs another procedure after 15 months, I probably would pass on that.
Yeah.
I don't think the Giants are in a position where they can take a big risk. You know, if they had two corners on this team, they wanted to go superpower here and they were a contender already. So I think you're going to pass on him, and you're probably going to go for one of these receivers, Denzel Boston, Jeremy Bernard, or Katie McDonald. I mean, Katie McDonald's hard to pass on just considering the need for a true run-stuffing defensive tackle.
Ryan Dunleavy just had a really good tweet that I didn't even think of. In regard to Francis Mauigoa's back injury, it's worth remembering the Giants just hired the head trainer from the Miami Hurricanes. So
That's true.
Interesting.
The Jets apparently have made a trade up from 33 to 30 with the 49ers.
Now, what were they?
Right, so this is where the fifth-year option comes into play. Right, so this is why teams are trading up now. They're going to try to get this fifth-year option.
I mean, Carson Beck?
I was going to say a crazy thought would be Carson Beck.
Oh, my God. That would be awesome.
I'm telling you, it would be a Jets move.
Well, they might try to replicate what the Giants did. They might be just thinking if the Giants can do it, maybe we can do it. But if that goes here, that's great news for the Giants. We're rooting for a quarterback here.
There was one report that said the thing they don't like about Carson Beck is that he's a loner. He's not a people person. He's not another. He's more of a by himself person. And as a quarterback, they didn't like that.
I mean, whatever. I'd say like Trevor Lawrence could be a loner. If he plays on the field, Daniel Jones, like, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily ostracize him for the personality trait.
You made me laugh on that one though, because the commercial with Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter, I don't know if the NFL was trying to send some sort of a weird message, but they did. That is the weirdest commercial I've ever seen between those two.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my God. Oh, it is.
So I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you have a feel for what the Bills might be looking for, positional wise?
Yeah, they got they can look at receiver.
Okay,
you know,
but they're not looking.
They added DJ Moore. They have Khalil Shakir, but they have no size. They don't like Keon Coleman. That's pretty public now. So Denzel Boston makes sense there. They always go after toolsy defensive linemen. So Kane McDonald is probably in their scope. TJ Parker is probably in their scope.
Jets take Omar Cooper.
Ooh.
Wow.
Come
on, Boston!
Those guys are getting expensive.
This is going pretty well for the Giants. I don't get my hopes up, but this is going pretty well for the right.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just laughing because you've said that probably like 20 times in the last 20 minutes
since the draft started.
No, but as
soon as Bailey was picked.
Well, look,
no, you're in a state of shock.
No, it really has. You're 100%
look.
right.
I'm always a positive guy with the draft because to me, it's just one of the fun things, anyways.
It is. Yeah.
It's just fun. I just look forward to this,
Hope springs eternal.
Yes. I don't know. I just always love the draft. This is fun for me. But there's no Thomas Lewis.
Blast.
There's no Thomas Lewis. There's no Cedric Jones pick here so far.
That we can see.
Cy, quick question for you. How do you feel about picks being spoiled ahead of time?
I hate it, but I get it. I don't complain about it. I hate it. But I'm an old school. The older I get, the more I realize I'm just an old school guy in general. Miss the old days where you just had to wait for them to announce it on TV. So I purposely, when I'm on Twitter, I don't refresh anything. I just type the short analysis of the picks. I try never to find out.
And I know that was Cy because
I get why people do it.
Because I would follow the Twitter account and watch Cy's comment both on the website and on Twitter. And Cy would still be commenting on like who he would take when it was already the Giants. who they pick. That's kind of fun when one of Sai's most popular articles is the what would I would have done.
Yeah, for sure.
So because he does it in real time who he would have picked. So
right.
That's
do
why
you
I
do
gotta
that
watch
with
the
all
draft.
teams or just the Giants?
No, just the Giants. If I if I ever got it, I used to do it for the Jets. I had a buddy that wanted me to do it for the Jets back in the day.
So we know who the Jets. Wait, did we know who the Jets took? We don't.
They just announced Mark
and
Cooper.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're on Bills now. Okay.
We won't spoil any more picks tonight. I respect.
I don't care.
There's only two left.
This is your show.
I know, but hey,
This is your
better
show.
late than never.
This is your show, not mine.
Hey, since Sai's been on, I don't think they've been spoiled except for the last one. I don't think the Peter Woods one was a spoiler.
No. Yeah, I spoiled the last couple.
I mean,
Yeah,
Jets have a couple nice pass catchers here. Whoever's going to be playing quarterback for them in 27 is going to be happy.
Yeah, Tom. The issue with the Cedric Jones pick too was the Giants really wanted Jonathan Ogden, and they just missed out on Jonathan Ogden. It was such a disaster.
Tennessee
running
trade.
back that was so bad. It was Lawrence.
Tennessee's up.
Tennessee
They
trading up.
just traded him.
Oh,
Let's take a guess. No spoil. Who do we think? Take a guess. Everyone's got to take a guess.
Tennessee.
Well, they took Tate already, so Falk.
Falk. That's a good call.
No, they need offensive line. Lomu. Oh no, Lomu went.
No.
They do need offensive linemen.
DeSantis, but they just locked up Skoronski.
I think McCoy. Is it
McCoy or Falk?
Oh,
Falk
McCoy,
is definitely
yeah.
a Sala type. Arik Armstead.
Yep. He's really good value right now.
So when we get off after I update the site, I'm going to pick my top 5 favorite guys left and be like, all right, if I get one of these 5 guys, but I tell you what, Cade McDonald's sticking out.
He's sticking out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
We did this
But
last year.
So this is. Would you trade up for? I mean, look at how many players are being traded up for right now that are not quarterbers.
The Titans did trade away Tavondre Sweat this offseason. Keep that in mind. So they have a little hole at nose tackle.
Interesting.
They're going from what I'm seeing is they're going corner, and it's not McCoy. No,
McCoy?
It's not McCoy. It's
Pons?
Sissy.
Yeah, Brandon
from South Carolina.
Cisse, sorry.
Nice. I got crushed for
good.
putting a first round, having him so high.
Wow. Because I mean, we're getting into the territory of like McCoy, McDonald, like you're limiting it to 5 picks. It was 6 with Seattle, but I mean, you're getting down to could we nail one of these people that's fallen?
You will. You're going to. Or
Yeah.
you're going to have someone that wants to trade up, Dave.
So would Arizona
right.
would Arizona trade in at the bottom of the round at 32 to try to get their quarterback and lock them in for 5 years? That would be awesome. That would be awesome. That would.
Ty,
give me Boston.
would you be okay with Colton Hood or Johnson at corner at 37?
Johnson's gone.
Johnson's gone.
Johnson went.
Avion Terrell is the one you're looking for there.
No, I didn't realize Johnson went.
Yep.
Where did
he went
Where did he
early.
go? Where did he
Terrell's got a
go?
medical, too.
Oh, Miami got him. Okay, sorry, I missed that. But what about Colton Hood? I don't think you were as high.
I wasn't as high on Hood as some others are. I think he's a 3rd rounder.
Okay.
What about Terrell?
I think he's him and Pons and Cisse, who I think is about to go. You said right to Tennessee.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, I had all of them in the same.
Oh
grade.
no, sorry, no, wrong.
Keldrick
That was
Falk.
Falk. It was Falk. So that was the wrong name.
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
So, who would your corner, if you were going to take a corner there, who would you take? If you were a gun to your head, if you had to take a corner?
Probably Cisse from South Carolina.
Okay. Now, would you be upset with Pons there?
No, I love Pons. I have the same grade on him.
Okay. We were
He's just
talking
small.
about
He's
him before.
He's a risky pick.
He's just a football player.
Yep. I like Terrell. I think he's a nickel only though, so that scares me a little bit. That's Andrew Phillips' spot.
Yeah.
What about
Fort-
Keontae Scott?
Keontae's got to like him nickel only though. Safety could be a Caleb Downs plan B.
Yeah, right.
There's a few Caleb Downs skill set players. Kamari Ramsey from USC.
Yeah.
Between I think I know this because between Lee Hunter and Christian Miller, you like Christian Miller better, right? I think is
Sorry,
that
Miller or who?
Christian Miller and Lee Hunter. Between those two,
I like Miller better.
Better. Okay.
Especially for what the Giants need.
So if we're looking at like the top 5, I guess it's like Boston. Do you put McCoy in there? You put McDonald in there? Who else is left that's like in that arena?
If Arvell Reese wasn't an inside linebacker, you could, you'd be talking about Anthony Hill and,
Yeah,
I think
Anthony Hill than a lot of people.
I think you have to include Bernard in that group, though, based on Giant need and what he does.
Denzel Boston's still there.
Boston's my guy. That's the guy I want. So
they're picking 5th, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can come up with a group of 5 guys and be like,
that's what I'm trying to do right now. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do this right now.
I say you keep McCoy out of this for now.
Keep McCoy out of it. Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
agree.
Just
What,
only
isn't
because
that something?
look, if all these teams are taking corners over him,
they
then
know
he's got to be
something's
bad.
up. Yeah. yeah.
Why?
And Will Johnson fell to the second last year, and he played well.
Right. He's doing well. Right. Yep.
What is the latest on his knee? I mean, has there been any talk, Shine, that about his knee in the community?
He might need another procedure.
Oh.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. No.
A plug, was it?
Yeah. Jordyn Tyson,
and it was in the knee that he didn't tear the ACL, I believe.
Yeah, which
So
happens.
Both
a lot.
of his knees are shot to shit.
That's what I want in a corner.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Caden McDonald goes before the Giants pick, I might look to trade down here.
Here's a question. Would you take a trade down if someone wanted to trade up for McDonald?
No.
Ooh.
No. No. But again, I'm not the
Yeah, it depends on what I'm getting.
I'm not the draft analyst.
Second and a third. Let's say this: a mid-second and mid-third.
You
Like
can
you're
have
gonna drop
that.
down
I'll give me that.
Yes.
Give me
You're gonna
the
drop down
third.
15
Yeah,
picks and get a
probably
third.
in that situation, probably.
100%.
You know, when you came on the show, Si, early in the year, not your last one, but I mentioned to you that when I looked at Noah, he just looked like a Raven to me. Caden McDonald looks like a Raven to me. I mean, he just so when I see him, I see a John Harbaugh style player. When I see Caden McDonald, that's just that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm thinking that when he was talking at the owners meeting, there were 2 times where he said work in progress. Everything else he was very positive about, but it was the offensive line. He said it's a work in progress. We hope to get it fixed in 1 year, hopefully not 2. That was the most negative he was. But the one where he was visibly upset was run defense. He was visibly upset when he said it was a disaster if we give up 4-yard, 5-yard runs. And I think he wants to stop that. Now I know there are a lot of defensive tackles in this class, and they can get somebody in day 3, but I just have a hard time passing on McDonald. It better be a 3 and a 2, like a mid 2 and a mid 3 to me.
Sty, you mentioned Jadarian Price a moment ago, and we grazed over it, but is he a consideration for you at 37? I'm a lot higher on him than most people are.
I think he's good enough to be this pick for the Giants.
Yeah, right.
Not the best use of the resource, in my opinion, especially with the hole at D tackle with the player available.
You were saying first Seattle, maybe?
Seattle's pick is in, so we'll see right now.
And this is it. So after this, we probably should wrap it up.
That's a hell of a mustache there. I don't know who that dude is, but okay.
We're going to keep it tight, right? What are we?
We're going to keep it to a tight 3 hours.
I told John I wasn't going to do the whole first round because I didn't want to be up all night. Looks like I'm going to be up all night.
I didn't think I was going to be on here the entire time.
It's just too
Two
fun.
cigars deep.
It's too fun. I didn't even get my. I was supposed to be supplied more drinks along the way. Wait till I go.
Wow,
upstairs
you
and say,
haven't had
"Where are
an
my drinks?"
extra drink this whole time?
No,
That's tough.
I got
man.
no. This sucks. I'm gonna.
How many bottles you fill up, Eric?
What?
Just pinch it, dude. Just pinch it.
Cy does not know what we're talking about. He wasn't here for that.
I can't. Once I start going, I can't stop.
Oh no. Keep it tight.
Jesus Christ.
All right. So overall, because we're wrapping this up too. So none of us are unhappy. Some of us seem to be happier than others. I'm pretty happy.
Cautiously optimistic.
I'm glad they got an offensive lineman, especially given the way the alignment went off the board. And I don't think they reached for an offensive lineman. I think it would have felt like a reach for an offensive lineman at 5. It didn't feel like a reach to me at 10. And Mawanoa or Awane would have been fine with me at 10. So I'm fine with that. I think a lot of us were expecting there would be a possibility that Reese might be there in the last few days since Bailey was going to go 2, but
Jadarian Price went.
Jadarian Price. There he goes. Yep.
He goes. Yep.
Makes sense. You know, it's crazy in a draft full of madness. The Ravens still got Iwani.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the only one that was like consistent. Everybody expect outside of like Mendoza.
So here's a question before we got with all the teams that had multiple first-round picks. Let's leave the Giants out of it right now because it sounds like we're biased. Who did the best with their 2 picks?
Well, wait. 1 second before you do that, real quick. Kevin Captiva, that's not true. Auburn had 2 backs that went in the first round in the draft a number of years ago. Cadillac Williams was one, and I'm trying to remember the other.
Ronnie Brown.
Those both went in the first round a number of years ago. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Nice pull, Si.
I'm just curious of the people that had 2. I guess the Jets had 3 because they traded back up. The Jets had a good draft though. Omar Cooper, Bailey, and who was the other one that got? Who was the other pick the Jets had? Oh, Kenyon Sadiq, which is interesting given who they drafted previously last year.
Yeah, Mason Taylor.
I know Cy likes Kenyon. I don't know how you feel about Cooper. Did you like Cooper, Cy? I don't remember.
Yeah, yard after catch. He's a beast after the catch. I don't think he's much of a downfield threat. I think he's a little. I thought he was more of a day 2 wide receiver.
So not a first round guy to you.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are getting drafted now aren't first round guys, but the 5th year again, it makes sense. 5th year option economics. Like these wide receivers cost so much money now. It's just like might as well trade up and get them if you like them.
There was a Ian Rappaport shared kind of funny.
What the Chiefs did.
Shared kind of a funny story. Mekhi Lemon was on the phone with the Pittsburgh Steelers when the Philadelphia Eagles traded ahead of the Steelers to take him. So he was actually talking to the Steelers, and the Eagles jumped ahead and took him there. So it's kind of funny. Anyway,
I think the Steelers got a good player in Ian Archer there. I mean,
sure,
developmental guy, but good player. Yeah.
I'm biased, but I think the Giants kicked ass tonight. I think they did exactly what they needed to do. It would have been scary if Love had fallen to 5, and who knows what might have happened. Just the way things in the past, the way fans would have reacted. Ron Dunleavy could have been in his glory, but I think they hit a home run. I thought that for them that was probably the best scenario that could have worked out for them. Is things falling to them without having to move around or take a guy just because he was the leftover. Reese was one not expected to be there, and I think they pulled that off. And getting Mawanoa at 10 was awesome.
Probably one of the more pointless exercises is the post-draft grade, immediate post-draft grade. It's probably up there with the mock, but I would expect the Giants to get really good grades because of what I said earlier, that people were mocking Reese at 2 and Mawanoa to the Cardinals at 3, again, which never made sense to me. But I think the same people that do that kind of work are going to say, wow, the Giants got those guys. And the Giants claim, again, they're not going to say otherwise. The Giants claim tonight that they got 2 of their top 5 rated players on their board. And Harbaugh looked like he was beaming at the press conference.
Yeah.
So I tend to believe that, but no one's ever going to come out there and say we didn't get our guy. But I would expect the immediate post-draft grades to be high. But they were high for Neal and Thibodeau too. So we'll see how this goes.
Just as much as it fell well to us in the first, I'm looking at the second, and it's like Boston or McDonald. And if both those guys are gone, then take your pick out of the corners: McCoy, Terrell, Hood, or Cisse.
Hans. I mean, I know you're not a Hans guy, but I
right.
like
But he would be in that conversation. But still, like, so that's 5 corners alone.
Right.
Well, and it's funny too, because as you were talking, Dave, I ran real quick. I just ran a simulator just to let it go and it, of course, it includes all the people already picked. And then starting at the top of the second round, it literally went McCoy, Hood, and Cisse is the first 3 picks. And then Gabe Jackus was the next pick for the Raiders, leaving the Giants with a ton of options. So while it may not fall that way, there's a number of guys that we are interested in that I think will, at least one of them and possibly 2 or 3 of them will be there at 37. And it better be Boston.
The scenario I would trade down is if McDonald or Boston isn't there, I think. And
you're not taking one of those corners, Eric? Corner is such a need.
You might still get one of them.
You might still get one of them. That's the thing. Yeah, which Cy just said. If there's so many left there,
I don't know. I think there could be a run.
It would depend on you're right too. It would depend on the offer and how far you're trading down. So I'm
fair.
I think I'm sticking.
Christian Miller is not a bad backup plan. If Caden McDonald goes and Christian Miller, you either trade down and still get him. Not a bad. Yeah. I love Dominique Orange. I think Dominique Orange is right there with McDonald.
Well, that was my question to you, Cy. Would it be a gigantic reach to take Orange in the second round?
Right here?
Probably.
No,
right?
It's not a gigantic reach, but you are absolutely passing on better players for a need. And I think that's what gets teams into trouble. Look, Giants are signing DJ Reader. They're going to.
Yeah, that seems foregone.
Just, put that in your head. Like, hey, he's going to be on this roster. Do you really need to reach for another defensive tackle? If one's there that it's good, you do it. But
I just look at Reader's age. Was he 32? And he is on a decline. So I get it. I would feel so much better if we had a good young nose tackle behind him. But it's you said, you don't want to shop hungry. You say that all the time. You don't want to shop hungry. And that's kind of the one position the Giants have to shop hungry a little bit.
But the hardest part about projecting that particular need is exactly how they plan on playing this defense.
Yeah.
If that position needs to be more just interchangeable based on down and distance or whatever the particular circumstance is, then you're going to have a big guy who plays the run and then you take him out and somebody, you know what I mean? You don't have to have a superstar. They just has to be somebody that's going to play that role, whatever that is. And I think you can find those guys in the 4th and the 5th round and get by, and maybe they look at it next year if they really want to upgrade, because you've got a lot of talent on the outside. I need just people that are going to eat up blocks in the middle.
I think, but I mean, I'm looking at the roster. I'm looking at but I think we're in agreement that the positions that they're looking at 37 are DT, cornerback, and wide receiver, right? That's what we're looking at, right? Yeah, we're not forgetting something.
Like it.
I would think so.
We're not forgetting something. They're not going to go edge at 37. They're not going to go. I don't think they're going to go safety at 37. Linebacker, they would have, I think, if they didn't take Reese. But that's that thing that we all were talking about, that flexibility Reese gives them on inside outside now. It's kind of the same thing with Malinois, inside outside. It's kind of a nice thing now. It's almost like it's not 2 players for one, but it gives you that flexibility that if you need a guard or a tackle based on an injury situation. You need an inside or an outside linebacker based on an injury situation. You can kind of move people around that.
I would say whether it was true or overblown, they had an interest in Caleb Downs. If that is true and it wasn't just Downs, but it was the position, then you still have McNeil Warren sitting there as a safety that was ranked pretty high. I know we talked about him earlier with science stuff, but he's sitting there. So there is another piece there. Linebacker, you wouldn't think, after getting Reese, there really doesn't seem like even if a guy's rated a little bit higher, you're probably not going to throw another linebacker there. That's a lot of resources at the same time for a position you probably don't need to go there. But I think you're onto it. Mostly it's corner, defensive tackle, and wide receiver are probably the three main ones. But I would have safety there as well, though.
So you must have a big difference with your colleagues at Our Lads on Jalen Kilgore, right? Because you had him higher on your board.
I'm very high on Kilgore. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get any stay in DBs at Our Lads, but which is fine. Kilgore too. I love Kilgore. I think he's a stud.
And what about
who would be your top 5 going into tomorrow?
You're gonna put him on the spot.
I'm genuinely curious.
McDonald, Bernard, Boston, Cisse, and I would say McCoy. I would like to throw McCoy in there, but if the medical is bad, then I would say Pons or Terrell. I'm
happy with all that.
So not Miller with that group.
Christian Miller.
Yeah,
I think if you can reach a little bit for need. I just don't like reaching too much. So I would love to get Miller. If McDonald's off the board and you really want to get that tackle in there, I'm fine with it. But that would be a guy I would love to, if the Giants trade down, to get Miller or Orange, but also pick up another third or early fourth.
What is
I think that might be my ideal, is get a Dominique Orange type via trade down and pick up a third.
For me, I McDonald has to be in there. Boston's my one. Boston, McDonald. I like McNeil Warren. I like him. I can see he would be in there. Bernard would be 4, and then I'm kind of gonna go. I think he's gonna go earlier than what a lot of people project, and for me, this is very early. But I like Jackson out of Florida State, so that would be my 5th.
I know how you feel about Bernard's run blocking and as a wide receiver. And he gets that description associated with him as not gadget player, but I don't know what the right phrase is.
Swiss Army knife.
There you go.
Do you see him? Do you see him as a viable 2 in the league?
I do. I would say he'd be an okay 2, a really, really good 3.
Okay. But you are, and I like him too. So I'm playing devil's advocate.
I like him more than most.
Because you got a lot of blowback today on the website about your mock. The only player they didn't like on your mock, was Bernard, and I know you've liked him for a while, and so there might be people out there who are want to know from you why Bernard as a wide receiver. What about him? And I think the blocking is a big thing with you, but I don't know if you want to address that, because there were a lot of questions about that in your mock today.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the blocking is icing on the cake. I'm not going to block. I'm not going to draft a receiver because he blocks well. I just know that just watching the Giants football, this team over the past 5-6 years and how bad it's been, it's like I want guys that are real football players, but they're also talented and fast. So here's a couple of numbers for you, for people that love the numbers. The percentage of his receptions that went over 20 yards was 5th best in the class. Okay, so just keep that number in your head. Top 5 in the class of every receiver in terms of how the percentage of his catches that resulted in over 20 yards. But his average depth of target is pretty low. It's not up there with Carnell Tate, who's 15 plus yards. Only, let's see, 30% 30% of his targets were over 20 yards downfield. So meaning they don't throw him the ball downfield that often, but he was still getting a lot of yards. How is he doing that? And it's yards after catch. The missed tackles that he creates after the catch is top 10 in the class per reception. Meaning when he gets the ball in his hands, he's going to break a tackle. He's going to create something. Now the question with him is two things: doesn't track the ball downfield very well, loses balance, doesn't keep his line, doesn't have great body control. But what he does, he doesn't drop the ball. If he gets his hands on the ball, he's not going to drop it. And then you look at his size, he's over 6 foot. He's at 205. I think he plays close to 210. 40 was a lot faster than people thought. I'm not drafting him for that reason. But his free cone is like all-time great. For receivers above 205 pounds. He's like a 6.71 or something like that, like a crazy high number. And whenever all my games on him are this guy gets separation, short to intermediate. And that's why I think he's a really good compliment for a Malik Neighbors type. Is that when you need like a Monty Toomer 3rd and 8, you need someone to get open, he's going to get open. He's not going to drop the ball, and he's going to break a tackle. So to me, he just makes sense for what this offense needs for Jackson Dart.
Right. Exactly. So if you were going to have Boston as your 1 on day 2 wide receiver, Bernard as your number 2, is there other guy you'd throw into the equation that might be in the discussion? Is it the Tennessee receiver, or you're not even looking at another wide receiver there? Is there any?
Not at that spot.
Okay.
They end up falling down a little bit or trading down. Chris Brazell from Tennessee, Chris Bell, the kid that tore his ACL in the fall. Again, I don't know if you want to take the injury concern, but he has really good tape. Other than that, I think you're going to have to wait till day 3.
Okay.
Really. Yeah.
So we got your corners, we got your receivers, and I think we know that you're only looking at McDonald with the possible
with that
Miller.
Pick,
yeah. And Dave, what is your 5? Or give me a few, whatever you're like. Who are you hoping for?
Well, I mean, McCoy is still super intriguing. Like, I never in a bazillion years saw him falling out of the first round. So the medicals have to be bad. But yeah, is it going to require another surgery and he's out another year? I agree. When we talked about that earlier, it's just like, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze there as much as like it might be. We just don't want to wait around for it. And it's super risky. But I like Colton Hood. I mean, Anthony Hill's still staring me in the face. I
know. That's why I was wondering if you're going to go there.
I would, man. He is definitely best guy on my board at this point. So as much as they like, how long is Tremaine Edmonds going to be hanging around? You know, like if Hill somehow outplays him, Reese and Hill outplay him, and he's a backup, and it's like him and McFadden are backups. I'm like, okay, cool. You know,
boy, would the Giants be set at linebacker if they did that though?
That's what I'm saying. I mean? Yeah, but like, when's the last time that happened?
Yeah,
and it's such an important position.
1986.
What's interesting to me too is like the TJ Parker, Cassius Howell guys are both sitting there, which they were both like floated as first round guys. I don't think I would go that route, but like, I mean, that's somebody might trade up for them.
Yes, I mentioned Parker like a possibility in the first round. I forgot Parker's still on the board, isn't he?
Yeah, but I don't know. I'd probably like Boston, McDonald, Hill, McCoy, and then Hood probably would be the 5.
Do you guys think there's any shot Kayvon gets traded?
I do. Yeah. They said tonight. They said they kind of poo-pooed that, but they're not going to publicly say they're looking to trade him. If they were looking to trade him before Arvell Reese, why wouldn't they be looking to trade him after Arvell Reese? I would not give him away. I would hold on to him into the season if they're not getting a decent offer. But if somebody offers them anything tomorrow for him, I'm listening. I mean, it would have to be like, if they give me a 2, I'm trading him because I want the cap space too. It would depend if it's not a 2 or if it's a low 3. I'd have to think about it. That's me. Maybe I'm being too greedy. I don't know. Maybe that's too high. I don't know what you guys think on the value of Kayvon is. I still think he's got value.
I think he has value, but I suspect that it would be more of a player for player. Somebody who wants to get rid of if they're going to take on a contract, they want to get rid of a contract. So if the Giants could find somebody with maybe a vet wide receiver that they could bring over, I think they could do that and get rid of that money. But yeah, it makes it tough though when you come out and when you make a statement. Now it depends on how. Sometimes people relay what they said. It's a telephone game. They relay what was said in a way that it wasn't said exactly that way. It didn't sound like they didn't say they wouldn't trade him,
Right.
just that they weren't actively shopping.
Yes, exactly. That's what it was. That's what it was.
Two different things.
Different
So,
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And it's
Well,
what they
hasn't it been widely known that they've been shopping him for God
Yes.
knows how long at this
Yes.
point? So
Yeah.
they just haven't gotten what they're looking for.
And I wouldn't give them away for nothing free, because at the very worst, it's what I said earlier. Harbaugh seems hyper focused on comp picks, and next year they should not be as active in free agency. And there's a good chance Kayvon will sign a sizable contract with somebody next offseason just based on his potential. So I would, if no one's offering you something, people get hurt, take them into the season, see if you get something by the trade deadline. If not, then and I've been one of those guys all along that has said, trade Saquon before he hit the open market, trade Xavier before he hit the open market. So I'm one of those guys, but I'm not giving players away either.
if you
Would you trade
you
him
know
for
you're
like
gonna
a
get-
third round comp?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to get a very motivated Kayvon this year. That's one thing.
Yeah.
And Harbaugh wants to win. He wants to win this year. He's not just looking for next year. And like you have that. That's a really solid group of 3 edge rushers.
So I asked these guys before about this. Is there any shot in your mind that Kayvon plays above average this year, takes a hometown discount to stick with a winning team that has good momentum, and they re-sign him?
I would say slim to none.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
what these
Kayvon
guys
wants
said,
money.
too.
I think he wants fame. I think he wants that monster contract. I think he wants West Coast, like all
Right.
that.
right.
Yep.
John mentioned that earlier about the West Coast. That's
Yeah.
his roots too. So I don't think he's long for this team. So on that note, guys, we better wrap this up. I've got to update the website. John, you should be thrilled.
Thank
I
you,
was
guys.
going to only give you half the first
Yeah,
round.
you did. No, this is awesome. This is awesome. It went great again, and you guys, coming in, Cy and Dave, totally appreciate that, and everybody in chat. It was a lot of fun, and we're excited
Do it
again.
tomorrow.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully, maybe there's some wheeling and dealing, but if Boston's there, I want them. So let's make it happen.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. And Cy and Dave, both of you, thank you for spending your evening.
Good job on the show together.
Yeah.
fellas.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It was fun.
Awesome.
All right, folks.
All
We'll
right,
catch you
cheers, guys.
tomorrow night.
See you later.
See ya.
Hey BBI fans, elevate your style with the all-new Inside BBI merchandise. From super soft tees to cozy hoodies and mugs for your morning brew.